Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. I'm back with another Legacy League. We are going to be playing Esper Vial. Esper Vial because it plays Aether Vial, a very powerful enabler, and Esper because it's Esper colors, blue, black, white. And this deck is extremely creature heavy. It has 32 creatures, so many cards. This is a Yorion deck that I needed to break my cards up into multiple columns. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So we can see that we have our 1-drops. These are basically all the non-creature spells in the entire deck. We have 3 Teferi. We have 4 Force of Will. We have 4 Aether Vial, 4 Brainstorm, 4 Swords of Plowshares. So the best blue and white non-creature spells in the format, basically. And then note that we don't have Ponder because we had to make space for all these critters. So let's talk about what critters we have in here. First, we have the amazing card that everybody should be playing right now, Orcish Bowmasters. Now, a lot of people have stopped playing this because it's so weak against the field, but it is still a very strong card. We have Baleful Strix, which is the prey of Orcish Bowmasters, but is very good against Eldrazi, against frogs, and we have Frog. Frog doesn't really have synergy with the deck, but it is blue and black, and we need blue cards to be able to reliably pitch to Force of Will, so we have Frog in here. Then the other blue creatures we have are Gilded Drake, which is an old reserve list card, which essentially allows us to trade the Gilded Drake for any creature our opponent controls, and that's normally pretty bad. Like, do you really want to be paying 2 mana to give your opponent a 3/3 just to take one of their Nethergoyfs or something like that? But consider that we have lots of abilities to blink Gilded Drake and essentially steal yet another creature. So we're going to be repeatedly taking the Gilded Drake from our opponent and giving it to him, and each time we're going to be netting a creature. This is a very powerful effect. Control Magic, printed in the first ever edition of Magic the Gathering Alpha, was a 4-mana spell, and they've never really come up with a direct substitute for Control Magic that is less than 4 mana. So you're essentially getting a 4-mana effect for 2 mana that you can repeat. One of the ways we blink, other than Charming Prince, is Phelia, Exuberant Shepherd. She is a good dog. She was printed in Modern Horizons 3, and she has the ability to blink every time she attacks. She has Flash, so she comes in during the end step, and bam, bam, next thing you know, you're blinking your Gilded Drake out of play and you're stealing another creature, or you're blinking your Orcish Bowmaster out of play and you're getting another ETB trigger, or another Baleful Strix trigger, or potentially a Recruiter of the Guard trigger and searching for yet another creature, or you're destroying, exiling another permanent with Skyclave, or you're exiling a creature with Solitude. We also have this Baron Tolarian Archmage card that is probably not Legacy power level, but it's pretty good. It bounces cards back to your hand or to your opponent's hand, and it can help you draw a card. So if you have a Crocus out and you want to bounce, say, your Samwise, the Stout-Hearted, or your Phelia back to your hand each turn, you can get a card out of that. So it's pretty good. And it does bounce things. A big theme of this deck is just bouncing things and getting through the early game so that we can survive long enough to take over, because this does have the Yorion Sky Nomad inevitability of Death and Taxes decks. Let's talk a little bit about the rest of the sideboard here. This deck is pretty weak to combo. We have 4 Force of Wills, but they're distributed across 80 cards. So instead of getting a Force of Will in 40% of opening hands, we're going to get a Force of Will in 32% of opening hands, so less than a third. So by adding 4 Force of Negations, you dramatically increase the force count. We also have a couple Spell Pierces because these are really good early game plays to disrupt spell-based combo decks, disrupt Show and Tell, disrupt the Epic Storm, disrupt if you're on the draw, or if you're on the play, you can potentially disrupt Oops All Spells or Necrodominance. But really, we're hoping not to board much at all, because this deck is very well-rounded, and I rarely board things in unless it's a combo matchup. But we do occasionally board in a Harbinger of the Seas, which can be fetched with Recruiter, Lauren of the Third Path, which can destroy an artifact or enchantment, and combos with Orcish Bowmasters, making your opponents draw a card. Very good. And Fairy Macabre, which is tutorable Graveyard Hate, we can get that off of Recruiter of the Guard. And I have a Plague Engineer. I'm probably going to cut this, but yeah, it's good against orcs. And then rounding that out, we have Lavinia, whose border is not loading for some reason, and she is very strong against combo in general. We got a couple Nile spell bombs, and that's it. That's the deck. The mana base is very responsible in my opinion. We're playing 29 lands. We're playing 12 fetches, playing one of each basic land, and we're playing 4 of each dual, 2 surveil lands, and then 3 of the original alpha dual lands. And then we've got 3 wastelands. A lot of these decks play 4, but I really want to make sure we have enough colored mana. So here's the spoiler alert. I recorded 4 matches of a league, and then I figured out that OBS, the software I'm using to record these, was not recording properly. So we're just going to start with round 5, and then we're going to go into another league. But I will go ahead and tell you, based on my experience, this is my first time playing this exact version of the deck on MTGO. I play this in paper all the time. It's fun. I've won some weeklies with it. But I love having basics. Basics have been so strong right now. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 island to the deck. I do think it's worth it to have an extra island. And I am going to add 1 more fetch land. We already used all the blue, black, white fetch lands. So we're going to just get a Scalding Tarn here and add that. And then we will have a whopping 13 fetches. And then I'm just going to remove 1 of each of the duels. We don't really need them. Unless like things go catastrophically wrong, like we're getting waste locked or something like that, we shouldn't ever need more than 3 copies of each of the fetches when we also have basics. All right, so that is the deck. Again, I'm going to play the final round of my previous league, which you'll get to watch, and then I'm going to play a full new league. Should be a lot of fun. While I'm at it, this Plague Engineer, I just don't think it's good enough. I'll play this next league. Who knows? Maybe Plague Engineer will come in and change my mind. Plague Engineer, you're on watch. You got your notice. All right, see you in round 5, I guess. All right, round 5. You can see my previous performance there was quite good. I've only lost a few games this entire league, but it's not uncommon for me to play a league and do really well and then play another league and not do so well. So a lot of it has to do with matchups, luck. There's a lot of variance here. This hand looks really strong. Let's go ahead and see what our opponent, Nitric 19, is on. All right, unfortunately, they are likely on, looks like some version of 12 post, which is a really bad matchup for us. But I'm going to do my best. That's my only loss so far has been to 12 post. But I think this is good enough. We have Phelia with Baleful Strix, which is a draw engine. I'm going to keep this. All right. So we're on the play, which is lucky. Considering they're likely on 12 post, I'm going to lead with this, and I'm just going to chill, and then I can fetch a duel if they are, in fact, on 12 post. I would like to have a lot of colored mana here. I'd like to have both an Underground Sea and a Tundra, but I don't want to, because I'm low on lands, I don't want to do that unless, if they're on more traditional lands, which they weren't playing Mox Diamond in this one, so they may be on traditional lands. Yeah, that's a very aggressive start to get Dark Depths. So they basically have the Dark Depths combo, which is terrifying. And trying to think if this might be worth forcing just to buy me a turn, because I'm going to be able to play Baleful Strix here, but if they have the combo, you know what? Phelia does deal with it. Phelia gets rid of, and it's a trigger. They could potentially crop rotation to get, so aggressive. I love that retro art of Life from Alone, by the way. So this is a pretty key decision here. If we force, then it takes them an extra turn. Well, next turn, they have to cast Loam again. They have to dredge. They could potentially be returning even more stuff. They may do that anyway. But next turn, they play the land. If they have another Mox, they deterministically are able to make it. We might be able to block for a turn with Baleful Strix. I think I'm going to do this, and I'm going to hope to blow out a crop rotation. I'm not going to like throw up 2 cards for a 1-turn effect. Okay, and then I am going to go ahead and fetch here. It would be catastrophic if we get wasted, but I'm going to take that chance considering the pressure we're under. I'm going to go ahead and just get a Undercity Sewers. It doesn't really matter that much which one we get here. I will actually keep this because I like the idea of having a 3rd land. All right, we could go ahead and go blue here and just make sure that we have white up for Phelia. She's the critical card that's going to save us from the Dark Depths Boogeyman. All right, and we got yet another land. So we can potentially Brainstorm and put these back if we need to. Brainstorm is our blue card for force. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping they go on the turbo Depths plan. That would be really good for us. Soul Guide Lantern doesn't matter here. We barely use our graveyard at all. That's one of the strengths of this deck. Other than exiling cards. Okay, they didn't even play it out. Yeah, I'm really happy about that. So here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play out the Marsh Flats, which can go grab... Oh, that's freaking insane right there. I really hope they go for it now. We've got several things to do. But I'm not going to attack for 1 because then we wouldn't have a blocker. Yeah, it's not worth the risk. We'll establish control, and then we will start attacking. Belly is definitely coming in this turn, though. Okay, Exploration's pretty dangerous if they have Loam. Yeah, because this means that basically they can deploy Dark Depths every other turn. I think that is a must force. Okay, here's the depths that we knew about. They are not making it immediately, which is great for us. And they probably don't have the ability to make it. Let's see, they don't have, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a Plains just out of respect for their ability to waste me. Phelia is coming in. All right. I'm going to, I think I'll play Caracas just as a failsafe. I'm just going to attack with Phelia here, and then I'm going to blink my Strix so I get an extra card. All right, this is what Phelia does. She generates card advantage. It's not really worth playing Charming Prince here because Charming Prince doesn't really have anything to blink. I am going to, well, let's see what I get. I won't get something that I can cast at instant speed. I am going to play the Charming Prince here just to try to filter a little bit. Because we can, if we gain life, that gets us farther away from death from Dark Depths. We would have to do this more than once. I think it's better to Surveil here. Or Scry, rather. So I will put lands. Oh, these are both, well, Bowmasters. Bowmasters actually isn't terrible. I'm going to keep both of these as is, and then I'll draw the Bowmasters. So I think I have to go put on top and then put on top. And then we should draw the Bowmasters. And then we can use that to pressure. And if they try to crack this Soul Guide Lantern, that'll be good for us. They may not expect it. Right? This Caracas is going to be so important here. Hopefully, okay. And I am going to go ahead and just punish that. And I'm doing so at the risk of them being able to, crop rot and get like protection and be able to successfully attack through. All right, so we're going to get even more power here. One of the things about this deck that will come up throughout this match is time. This deck involves a lot of clicking. And even if I play really fast and make decisions really fast, this deck cannot generally win quickly. It takes a few turns. So this is the real clinch here. Like if they're able to somehow make it now, fine. I tapped out of Caracas. I kind of brought it upon myself. So we can no longer exile her. I may go get Yorion next turn. We're going to draw a Plow, which is just further insulation from instant death. Plow is also incidentally good against like Elvish Reclaimer, which often comes up against these decks. They are probably going to Loam, I would think. They They actually could have loamed to avoid the Orcish Bowmaster ping there. But I guess they really wanted to draw the card. They may have drawn that Crocus because I wouldn't have plowed if Crocus was the card on hand here. All right, we're going to get a plow. I'm going to go ahead and play this out. And I think I'm going to attack with everything except the Strix. I'm going to keep the Strix back. I mean, I don't think we need to keep the Strix back. I think that's kind of ridiculous because if they make it, yeah, I'm going to attack with that. Every point of damage might matter here. Between Plow and Crocus, I think we have depths covered. Okay, 9. They're 2 turns from death. I think it's better to go ahead and get Yorion here because we can potentially get extra damage with Orcish Bowmaster. Attacking with Baleful Strix may have been greedy there. We'll see if I get punished. And we have the ability to go fetch a white source to Plow, and we have the Crocus itself. So they're going to need several layers to get through this. Crop rotation. I'm going to force this. I don't know what they're going to get, but I'm not excited to find out. I think it's quite likely they get Tabernacle. But Tabernacle wouldn't really stop us. I am kind of worried that I'm going to have to plow this. Becoming a copy of my planes is fine. They're doing that to insulate themselves against Wasteland. But the fact that they're not making it now is great because they know that they have to check some more boxes before they can safely make it. They probably were going to crop rotate for a Wasteland there. Okay, they're dropping to 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're not going to be able to Yorion them, unfortunately, since we had to pitch it to force. Living Wish. They're probably going to get a Wasteland here. Nothing we can really do about it. It's been a long time since I've seen Living Wish in a lands deck, but there are some Nadu decks that are playing it right now, which is, I wish I could be excited about Nadu, but I don't like it. I think that it's not fun. And I say that having played, at this point, I think I've played like 10 leagues with Nadu Breakfast. And yeah, it's just not a very fun card in my opinion. So I'm definitely happy to see Living Wish find a home in lands rather than as yet another combo enabler. Okay, Walking Ballista. Interesting. They really want to take out my Strix, I presume. That's fine. They could block and they can kill something, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and get my other Surveil land. This does mean that I can be wasted off black, but that's not too big of a deal right now. I want to make sure that my next card is good. I don't know what it is. It's a fresh draw. Force. I think that goes in the graveyard. What would be really good here would be another Orcish Bowmasters, probably. I wouldn't be opposed to getting another Baleful Strix. There are a lot of bad draws in my deck, too. Recruiter is not a bad draw. Okay, so Recruiter could come down. I think we just attack with everything, and they're going to ping the Strix for sure. Yeah, and we'll just preserve our element of surprise here. They can't, yeah. They're just going to protect 2 damage and probably ping after blocks. Yeah. We're going to take 3, so we're going to need to hit him again. So I am going to go ahead and I want to keep my white mana up for sure. I'm going to go like this. And we are going to go get... I don't think there's anything that I can use to kill them here. But I think getting another Orcish Bowmasters is pretty good. Baron is not actually terrible. We get another Baleful Strix. If we get Baleful Strix, that is... It doesn't actually stop the problem, though. I think I'm going to get a Bowmasters just because that represents a lot of damage. A body plus a ping. Well, it doesn't represent a body, but it will boost our Orc army, and it just provides a little bit of reach in case they're able to assemble blockers here. All right, we won. So I do feel like we're favored here by virtue of having all these Caracases. Carakai, whatever they're called. We have 3 Caracases in our deck. Lauren seems good here. I like her ability to potentially blow up like Hateful Permanents. Obviously, Harbinger of the Seas is going to be really good here. In terms of graveyard, I like these cards. Fairy Macabre, it doesn't cost a lot for us to put in. So this is one of those matchups where I do board a little bit more. I feel like Force Negation, while I don't know that we need all of them, let's talk about what we probably don't need. I don't think we need Solitude. I don't think we need... I mean, Force itself is not that great of a card here, but see, Force Negation, I think at most we board in 2 probably. So that just means that we take out... Baleful Strix was good there, but it's not normally good. It's actually really terrible because they get like Tabernacle and stuff. So I don't think we want these. Oh, this, I have taken my opponent's Merit Lage before, which is hilarious, and did end the game, but I don't think that's likely to happen. And taking an Elvish Reclaimer is not particularly strong here, so I don't think we need that. I guess we could board Solitude back in. I'm just trying to think in terms of blue cards, like blue card count. Let's see. We got 29 creatures on deck. We put that in. We're still at 29 creatures. That's a good enough density of cards. This is the real card that I want to resolve. This card is really powerful against them. It is worth noting that just like with Blood Moon, when this comes out, when this comes in, your opponents can play out Dark Depths and it doesn't get counters. So if they can remove this, they immediately get a 20/20. But I still think this is pretty good. Yeah, I think those are the only changes I have to make. I don't really like having this many forces, but yeah, I'm going to do it. Maybe our opponent will play scared of Bowmasters and won't be like, they had a land that they can sacrifice to draw a card. Maybe they won't be using those as aggressively here. One of the great things about playing this deck, though, is there's a very high likelihood, this is a great hand, that our opponent has never played against this deck before, because this deck has not been played in any, like Esper Vial is not an archetype that people have played in maybe 5 or 6 years at least. I'm going to keep this, and we're going to go land Vial, and we're going to hope that Vial gets us there. The fact that we have Surgical Extraction, that's so important, because against traditional lands, you stop the loam, you stop their engine. Doesn't matter how many, that's fine. I don't care at all about exploration. I just care about stopping the actual loam engine that allows them to have enough lands to play. So here, the conservative play is to go get an island or a plains, but that conservative play doesn't get us turn 2 Psychic Frog. Actually, turn 2 Psychic Frog, I do think turn 2 Psychic Frog is good because it forces them to use Maze of Ith. Phelia, yeah, I'll just do that. I'm going to play out the Vial, and if they waste us, they waste us. I'm more concerned about them somehow pithing needling the Vial or removing it. They've already played out their Boseiju, which this would be an amazing permanent to Boseiju. Oh, wow. They don't have a second land. That exploration was really, really stinky there then. Okay, and this is where the clicks come in. Always yield to triggered abilities named Aether Vial. Okay. Yes, I will use the ability. So generally I like to take Vial up to 2. I think I am going to go ahead and play out Psychic Frog, and we're just going to gradually overwhelm them. I'm not going to play on basics here because we have the Surgical if they try to get Wastelock going. Black, blue, frog. And this might be a minor thing, but now even if they get like a whatever the card is that makes all lands tap for green, this is one of them. They still won't be able to tap their Mace Fifth for green because they'll need to keep it up. Loan for nothing. I like it. Right? They could have like a cycler, but what I really want to do, so I think if I set the stop here, I want to wait until after they've drawn and then Surgical before they have the ability to do anything. So just in case they draw a second loam or have a second loam in hand. All right. We're going to take this up again. And we can double spell here. I kind of like playing out Baleful Strix here. And then should they do anything to target our permanents, we can flash in Charming Prince. And if they don't do something, we can flash in or vial in Phelia. Unfortunately, we don't have a blue card to go with this. There's not really any point in attacking, but I will. Our opponent is managing their clock better than we are, and they have fewer operations. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I just realized, I'm going to put this in the graveyard. I just realized that we can't actually do this during the draw step because there's a replacement effect. I need to do this now. So I'm going to just surgical this now. 1, 2, 2, 3. And of course, I'm going to be very careful to get this. And then I'm going to take a screenshot. All right, let's just take a quick look at their hand. So they have 2 Maze of Ith. They have a Living Wish as a potential out. They are not playing Urza's Saga at all. So really, their only win con is Dark Depths, which is great because I've got a blocker. So yeah, we'll just be mindful of that. Dark Depths and Walking Ballista. Oh wait, they do have Urza's Saga. They have all 4 Urza's Saga. I somehow missed that. They've got 3 Swords of Plowshares, it looks like. Lava Spur Boots. Okay, I'm glad I took a second look there. Let's pass. I would love to get Phelia in and just start, cantripping every single turn. But I'm feeling very favored having removed their Loam. We may only have to stop like 1 or 2 waves of Dark Depths and we'll be good. Crop Rot, they're going to get, I'm almost sure that they're going to get Tabernacle here. But that doesn't tap for mana. Oh yeah, actually it does. Riftstone makes it so it taps for mana. What was in their hand? For whatever reason, my screen share thing is not cooperating, so I'm not going to be able to see what was in their hand. Oh wait, their hand was revealed, right? They have a Plow, a Lorn, and a Living Wish. Okay, well those are good cards to have. Hopefully they attempt a Plow here. They can tap for white as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the Charming Prince for their Plow. I'm not sure what they're going to get here. I'm kind of terrified. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, they're not going to be able to multi-waste me. They're not going to be able to waste lock me. They didn't have a Crucible of Worlds. Okay. So I think their plan is to just slow me down. Double Maze of Ith. So here I could Phelia. And then maybe they attempt to Plow one of the cards. I think this is just permanently on like stop Swords of Plowshares duty. Sadly. Yes. And now I feel kind of dumb for putting the swamp in there. Not that I knew. Yes, this is going to take up so much of my clock, by the way. So if there's a game 3, I'm going to be way behind. I'm not going to use this ability. I'm just going to play out the Recruiter of the Guard. I think we hold this. I'm never going to get a chance to play out the Recruiter of the Guard, am I? I think I'm going to Brainstorm here and hope to... we found a land. Teferi is pretty bad. We're never going to be able to cast that. I can draw this. Okay. I'm just going to play this out, and I'm going to pass with Force of Will up. No point in attacking. In step, I can put Phelia in if they don't Charming Prince. Oh man, this is going to be a slog. This is going to be an absolute slog. More mana from their side. Please cast something that I can force. Lauren of the Third Path is going to be a force. I don't want to lose my Vial. And Baleful Strix, a single Baleful Strix is plenty here. I'm going to go ahead and use the ability. Yes. Put Phelia in. They may Plow. They didn't Plow. Okay. So I'm going to go. Okay. This is like such a confusing stack here. Yes. I have to hit all my hotkeys right. Yes. It's just like the ultimate vice grip. Like they're putting me through all of these even though I've removed their engine, I don't want to resign here. I don't want to, but I'm really worried that if somehow we lose this. So yes, we're going to use this ability. I'm going to put Charming Prince in. Charming Prince is going to exile Phelia, so we'll keep her. Okay, and we are going to successfully get an attack in with one of these. No. So I think we draw, do we draw Teferi here? We draw a Recruiter. So next turn, I will tick that up and just use Recruiter here. I'll attack with both of these. Doesn't really matter. They're not going to give me the frog. Okay, we did 1 damage. First blood. All right. It's so frustrating because in paper, like, this is no problem. I just freaking put my lands in a stack and I'm like, all right, these are for, you know, and I just say I'm not going to uptick my, this is non-land permanents. Yeah, so we can't do this to the Saga. Okay. Yeah. I feel like even though we're going to win this, we aren't necessarily going to win this because they're playing like this super trolly lands deck. I hate to call lands like a, 20 plus year old deck trolly, but like this is like the least fun card ever. All right. And yeah, I guess I'll pay for that too. And we'll just see if we can click through this fast enough. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and activate this and I'm going to put this in. Yes. Well, all right. Now we're going to go get, what can we get that helps us here? We could just keep putting Psychic Frogs into play and wait for a chance to get through there. We can get Lauren of the Third Path. This can blow up that Urza Saga next turn, but it's so slow. I think it probably is Lauren. Okay, and now I'm going to attack. I'll just attack with everybody. Attack with all creatures. This will exile this. Next turn, they're going to be able to do more shenanigans with Urza Saga. Okay. Always yield 2 abilities. They're going to take 2 damage or 3 damage. Okay, and we'll get this back. And I think I'm going to go get another 3-drop because unfortunately I can't really get other 2-drops here. Oh, Harbinger. Why didn't I think of that? I'm going to play Harbinger out. Yes, thank you. I definitely should have gotten that last turn. So I can Harbinger next upkeep, and then if they don't have a way to remove it, it'll kill the Urza Saga. It's going to do a lot of damage to them. Okay. Just like, okay. I'm not going to keep that one around. No. Okay. I am going to keep this around. Yes. It will be attacking for 2. I will keep it around. Okay. I'll pay for it. Yes. Okay. My Psychic Frog around. What an ordeal. My goodness. Okay. No. All right. I'm going to go ahead and use this. Do you have a Swords of Plowshares that you can cast immediately? Yes. Harbinger. This immediately kills their Urza Saga. Now I can attack with everybody. I'm not out of the woods. Please concede. All right, I'm going to blink this so I can draw a card. The 1 damage is not as powerful as drawing a card here. All right, 4-1. We clicked enough. We clicked them into submission. My goodness, that was grindy. But hey, that is quite an endorsement. And if you look, we only lost 4 games that whole time. This so this was against like the blue-white energy deck, which is quite strong with the creatures that like help each other. The Ocelot Pride. This is the I think this was like Delver, or it was blue-black Delver. I can't remember what this was. This was the 12 post matchup that we got completely destroyed by both games. They were able to cast and keep casting thanks to Crocus Ulamog, the one that exiles our creatures. So yeah, like I'm very happy with this result. Let's dive into another league. As I said, I made some minor changes to my deck. I am gonna make a quick change to the deck. I'm gonna take out the Plague Engineer, which just aside from killing Orc, which is a pain. I don't think it's good enough. So what would I add in this place? Well, really we just care about spell-based combo, and we care about I have contemplated just having this main deck, like having one main deck and having a second one, because it is really powerful in certain matchups. It is a blue creature, so if we could have 2 in the deck. I don't know. We don't need to. Yeah, I mean, this is like I labor over these kinds of tiny micro decisions. This is my curse as a brewer, as somebody who insists on playing decks that are not like solved, like Delver. I can't fit any more counter magic in. Well, I could put, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these out, and I'm going to put in Prismatic Endings. I think Prismatic Ending is strong right now because it removes Frog. It removes even a flipped Tameo. I misspelled Prismatic Ending. Type ending. It's harder to screw up. Okay. And then, so I think we bring in probably 2 endings. Then we have 2 slots left, 1 slot left. I think we could bring in a Hydroblast. This is good because then we have cards like against Delver. Like let's say we're playing against Grixis Delver. Rub Delver. I think if we are in that matchup, then what we can do is we can bring in these. We can bring in maybe the Harbinger. I actually don't think the Harbinger is right in that matchup. And then, so 2 Prismatic Endings, 1 Hydroblast, 2 Snell Spell Bombs, and then we can take out, I would probably take out Teferi, pretty bad card against Daze, Pyroblast deck, and some number of forces. Yeah. So I would even like to have a 3rd Prismatic Ending, really. It's so good. I mean, we could do it. We could go up to 3 Prismatic Endings. It is good against Painter. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it like that. Let's go into the next tournament, and let's hope that our luck holds, because, I mean, 4-1, definitely a better showing than I expected. I expected a maybe 3-2. So, yeah. All right, we are back against 420 Slam King. Maybe like a wrestling enthusiast. Looks like they are slamming, indeed, with Eldrazi in the most recent 2 showings, one of which was like yesterday. So let's assume they're on Eldrazi, which is pretty nightmarish of a matchup for us. It's not the worst. I'll wish them luck. We will reveal our Yorion, and we will get to work. I think this is okay against them. This is a really good card. Bowmasters is pretty bad, though. The fact that we can play on basics is kind of nice. What would be the ideal hand against Eldrazi? I think it'd be an Aether Vial and probably 1 or more Wastelands and a Baleful Strix. So I think we're going to actually throw this back. Force of Will, not super strong against Eldrazi. Psychic Frog could be good. Okay, I'm going to keep this, and I think I'm going to put Recruiter back just out of respect for the sheer volume of threats in their deck. Maybe we put back Force of Will. Let's put back Force of Will, and let's keep a threat heavy hand, because Recruiter can go get another, or can get a Baleful Strix or something like that essentially trades 1 for 1. I'm going to play this out, and then I can fetch a Surveil land. I don't generally play on basics against Eldrazi just because they can exile your land even if you play Disciplined and fetch basics. Yep, I'm glad I put back that Force. That would have been totally dead here. All right, so I'm going to go get, I'll get the blue-white Surveil land. Meticulous Archive. I keep it very clean. This is a great top deck that's coming out next turn. Actually, I think we're going to go ahead and stick the Psychic Frog just because the upside of connecting with Psychic Frog. With Baleful Strix, you get the card immediately. But with Psychic Frog, you get several cards if you can keep attacking through. And pitching Reclaimer or Recruiter is not beyond the pale, nor is pitching Brainstorm. Got a lot of mana here. What are they doing? If they thought not Seer, I might just pitch my hand. Is this a Kozilek's command? Yep. Unfortunately, we don't have a force. We can't do anything about this. This is fine. This is definitely an argument for... Okay, so they get to scry. This is an argument for playing the Strix out. If we played the Strix out first, that would have eaten the Kozilek's command, and we still have the upside of potentially drawing more cards. So this here comes the question of, do we want to just stick the Recruiter of the Guard now and be mana efficient and potentially double spell next turn? I think that's fine. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go get, I think I get another Baleful Strix. But then if they have a Wasteland, they completely screw up my hand. The other alternative is to get a Phelia, who can start blinking their permanents. The other option, since we have a Karakas, would be Baron, who can bounce Recruiter back to my hand and draw a card. That's very slow. Skyclave doesn't do anything here. They've got 4 cards left in hand. I think it's probably Phelia because we're guaranteed to be able to cast her. And yeah, I feel good about this decision. And assuming they don't have a way to remove our Karakas, we can potentially protect Phelia with it. The other option I considered was Samwise, but we don't have a fetch land or a wasteland in hand, and I didn't want to get it hoping that we would draw it. Next turn, we can cast both Phelia and Baleful Strix, and we can ETB Phelia to surprise them. Okay, they are very dangerously close to exile, a land, wasteland or other land, which would be catastrophic, obviously. There's been some talk of which cards would be banned out of the Eldrazi shell. I think most people agree that something should be banned. Or I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think Sowing Mycospawn, it just seems weird to ban a 4-mana card. But that card is just it's antithetical to hey, in my humble opinion in Legacy, if you get basics, those basics should be able to stay on the board for the rest of the game. It is ridiculous that Sowing Mycospawn can target non-basic lands with his exile effect. It should only be able to target it should only be able to target non-basic. It shouldn't be able to target basics. I feel very strongly about that. Okay, yeah, it looks like Sowing Mycospawn with Kicker is what I'm reading here. No? Okay, well, I'm happy if it's not that. I can handle pretty much anything else that would come this way. What is it that they're spending all that mana on if it's not a Sowing Mycospawn, though? It is a Sowing Mycospawn, and for whatever reason, they didn't cast the Kicker, even though they could have. Okay, so I think they screwed up there. That just doesn't make any sense. Oh, they have Linebreaker. Okay, well, Linebreaker is a problem. So we're taking 5 here. I don't want to get rid of my Phelia here. I'm going to take 5. It has trample. This won't have trample if it grants. It just gains haste and +X+O, but only the Linebreaker itself has trample. Okay. So I'm going to play this out. I'm so glad that they didn't kick this. That would have been catastrophic. Okay, I'm going to go blue, black, Baleful Strix. Sadly, Baleful Strix is not going to stick around for us to be able to do shenanigans. This is a great draw in case they have a second card, or even if they double spell, I will basically force anything that they put on the stack here. No point in attacking. I just have to settle into a defensive posture, run them out of cards, and then hopefully get Phelia, doing her thing and disrupting them sufficiently. Baleful Strix has to block Eldrazi Linebreaker. We can't leave Eldrazi Linebreaker in play. Sowing Mycospawn with Kicker. Kozilek's command. Choose 2. They're chosen mode. Oh, they're all... Wait. Chosen mode. Create X. Oh, yeah. I'm going to counter this because it's going to create a lot of Eldrazi spawn tokens, which are going to buff Linebreaker. And it also prevents them from getting a card off of it. Oh, wow. They conceded. What? I did not expect them to concede. That's crazy. Because they had combat and they would have been able to attack in. They have no reason to expect that I have something like Phelia in hand. I think that was a super premature concession, especially because they were getting close in mana to being able to. What was I lost track of? That was such a surprise. I was not expecting to win that at all. Lauren of the Third Path, they could. Let's take a look at their list. Actually, I don't think they're playing Chalice. They're playing like an all-in. Like I don't care about Vexing Bauble. It affects Solitude and my 4 Force of Wills. So 5 cards out of an 80 card deck. They have pretty heavy top end with these Devourer of Destinies. It That Heralds the End. So they are an It That Heralds the End build, which I think is probably the more flexible control-oriented version of Eldrazi. Not that it's like a control deck by any means, but this plus a Glaring Fleshraker plus Kozilek's Command, very strong. So let's get back to the sideboard here. And I think Lavinia does kind of put a crimp on. It's not by any means a good card, though, against them. You don't want to be playing cards like that. So I think the Harbinger is probably the only call. You could argue Prismatic Ending for taking care of It That Heralds the End, but that's really the only permanent it can hit. Maybe it could hit a Glaring Fleshraker, but you're doing so at an extreme cost. Gild the Drake is going to be amazing here. The only card, we can take out one card. I'm not sure what to take out. These, like pretty much everything in our deck is relevant against them. I don't want to take out a single land. I don't want to take out Solitude. Skyclave can remove a creature. Baron's probably the weakest individual card. They don't really have we don't want to bounce cards back to their hand because almost all their abilities have like some sort of trigger. So I'm going to take out Baron. And our blue count remains the same. Not that we would pitch Harbinger to anything. Harbinger is going to be very powerful if we can stick it. All right. We will probably never go long enough to bring that up. This is a good hand on the basis of Aether Vial, which is hard for them to interact with. Force of Will to slow their roll. And Plow, I'm going to keep this for sure. I'm trying to think if they have anything they can do to kill Aether Vial. Eldrazi Temple is a good start for them. I can't get the art to load in for some reason. I'm going to read the text on Kozilek's Command. I want to see if it can exile my... exile target creature with mana value X or less. So we can't exile non-land permanents, but they do have this Wastegate Battle Mage in their sideboard, which, if they brought this in, can potentially exile my Vial, which is not a mana efficient way of getting rid of my Vial, but it is a way to get rid of it. Do we want to counter this thing that we can counter? I think I am going to counter this. This may seem really aggressive, but we just need to buy time. Vial takes time. I know by countering that I'm saving at least 2 life for the first attack. All right, they're down to 5 cards. I'll be really scared if they start slamming like Thought-Knot Seers. Oh, Ugin might be even worse. Glaring Fleshraker is terrifying, but we do have Force next Plow next turn, and I will use it at the soonest possible opportunity. Now I'm really glad I forced the It That Heralds the End because it makes these creatures have power. All right, anything else? They've got lots of floating mana. Well, they have 1 floating mana. They have Lotus Petal, and all their Eldrazi are cheaper. Okay, they're thinking about... oh, yeah, this is bad. Okay, Myco Spawn. They're going to be able to search. They get another token. So Glaring Fleshraker is the one that people are saying should be banned, but sowing Myco Spawn I think is the most offensive in terms of offending my sensibilities. Okay, I'm so glad they got Cradle. So glad because they could have gotten Wasteland, and this is my only land. So if they knew that this was my only land, they would probably just get Wasteland, but they don't know that. So this works out in my favor. I am going to just plow this with prejudice. I do not like this card. And I'm going to take 3 next turn, but maybe more. This Cradle is going to generate a lot of mana. So I'm not hopeful for this game, but we're going to fight the good fight. We got plenty of time on the clock. All right. So they played an Ancient Tomb. They've got all the mana in the world. Actually, that It That Heralds the End, or not It That Heralds the End, that other card that costs 7 mana, Devourer of Destiny, that can exile any permanent that's one or more colors. Oh, good. So it can't actually get rid of my Vial. I'm so relieved. I don't really think they have a lot of things they can get rid of Vial in their deck. So we are going to take 3 and drop to 13 here, and then next turn we're going to take 7. So we're definitely under the gun here. If we can find a land, the best case scenario would probably be to rip like a wasteland or something, and then we could play out the Samwise, exile my Brainstorm, which I don't really even care about Brainstorm. I just, oh no, this is so much mana. They may exile my land. Oh, they're just going to search. They're going to go get the, they might get another Thought Knot. They're getting Fleshraker, and they're going to cast Fleshraker. It's so messed up that you can just cast Fleshraker for 1 mana. I am feeling ultra dead. I wouldn't even play this out if I was like lower on clock, but I'm going to play it out just to see what happens here, see what I draw. They have 1 card in hand. It might just be like another land. Let's see what we get. I mean, this does give us the ability to go get another land. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait until they attack. I can flash in, I can fetch, I can flash in Samwise, I can flash in Phelia. Samwise will block Glaring Fleshraker if they attack with that. But I mean, they may be able to just burn me out and kill me anyway. Samwise can return the Flooded Strand. Samwise can give Phelia. No, because, well, yeah, I'll do Phelia first and then I'll do Samwise. And then Phelia will be the ring bearer. So when she attacks, she won't die. Oh, they accidentally clicked through combat. What a gift. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and start by Pheliaing. Yes. Let's put Phelia in. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fetch here. I'll get an Underground Sea. And then I'm just going to go white, blue, Samwise, and I'll get my land back. And I will make Phelia the ring bearer. How do I... So I click this, and then I click this. Sorry, there are like so many triggers in this deck. I'm still getting used to them in MTGO. I promise when I play it on paper, like I'm super duper fast. Yes, we want to use this ability to take it up to 3. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. Gosh, we've got so much power opposing us right now. We do have the ability to prevent them from casting anything new beyond this. So here's what I'm going to do. We go fetch. While I'm fetching, I'm going to look at my cards. So cards that 3 drops that are left in our deck are Skyclave Apparition and Harbinger of the Sea. I will just get a Tundra here. I'm going to go blue, blue, like this. Oh, I need a white. Sorry. White, blue. Doesn't matter. Let's go get our Harbinger of the Seas. Go ahead and play it out now. They can float mana if they have Kozilek's Command as their last card. But if they have Kozilek's Command as their last card, I'm dead anyway. What? They scooped! Holy cow! I did not expect that because I was going to Harbinger of the Sea and then I was going to attack with Phelia, probably trade with Glaring Fleshraker, exile my Recruiter. I was going to use Recruiter to go get Skyclave this away, but it would have been a really long slog. But I do believe we had a game plan there. But I mean, I'll take it, you know. My opponent accidentally clicked through this. They may have been on tilt. Also, I wouldn't blame my opponent for just being annoyed as heck that I take forever to do anything because the deck is so click intensive. But I love this deck. I've been playing it for more than a year. I ordered the Gilded Drakes from Japan. I got a pretty good deal on them. I think I paid like $150 each. It's like $150 each. It's like a really old, difficult to find reserve list card. All right, for those who have a heart. All right. I like that name. Good luck, have fun. Let's go ahead and see. I'm not going to keep this hand, but let's see what they're on. We salute you. Okay, and it looks like they don't even play that much Legacy, but they like elves. This is traditional elves. We can punish this if they're on this. That's like Legacy. Is it Delver? They do have some range. We'll see what they're on. But I know that this is not what I want to keep because they're almost certainly not on like a traditional stack-based combo. They're probably on a permanent combo. Mulligan. This is great. We've got the Force, which we can pitch to Fairy to. I think I keep Karor. We don't actually have an immediate need for Karakas. I think I'm going to put Karakas back because nothing more embarrassing than drawing your second Karakas. All right. So that just alone burned like a minute off our clock. So we've already used up 4% of the time allotted for this match. Again, like if I talk too much about clock, I'm really sorry, but it's like the overwhelming, like our deck is really good, has really good inevitability, has good matchups against tempo type decks if we fetch our basics and if we play disciplined. But where it loses is in control mirrors and situations where we just have to click a lot, like that lands matchup 2 rounds ago where we were clicking like 20 times per upkeep. Okay. They are on breakfast based on this. I'm very glad I kept this hand. I'm going to go ahead and play this out. If they're on breakfast, I'm not worried about fetching basics. I can fetch a Surveil. The thing that I'm most concerned about with this deck is them potentially finding a Nadu. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck Teferi over here because I'm almost certainly going to pitch Teferi to force. And I'm going to hope that I can snipe like one of their cards with Orcish Bowmasters. I'm going to go ahead and fetch a Surveil land here. Surveillance have been such a windfall to this deck because we don't play Ponder. I'll just get Meticulous Archive here. I'm actually in the market for land. I'm going to throw that away. I know it sounds weird to throw the most powerful card in Legacy in the trash. That's a myth. I don't necessarily believe that it's the most powerful card in Legacy. I think Ancient Tomb is probably the most powerful card in Legacy. Or Reanimate. All right, and we have the ability to select. We have the ability to plow, double plow if we need to, and we have the ability to Orcish Bowmaster, which I prefer to do around. They're making heavy use of the Surveillance too. I'd prefer to Bowmaster around Daze because Daze is a card that a lot of these decks play. I will force a Nadu. That's fine. I'm not going to try to punish that. The key against breakfast is don't use your Bowmaster for punishing cantrips. Bowmaster is a tool in your toolbox to remove their 1/1 creatures. They're never going to print another Nomads in core. They're never going to print another Cephalid Illusionist. So they're always going to be 1/1 creatures that are vulnerable to Orcish Bowmaster. I say that because those were R&D mistakes. The way they templated those. Okay, so I lied. I said don't punish cantrips, but I am going to do that because one of the ways that their deck can win is to just out tempo you, basically. If you don't close the game quick enough. All right, so I think we're going to get like the full Brainstorm Dream here. Boom. All right, so if you do the math here, we're essentially doing like 9 damage, right? Because we did 1 damage, 2, 3, 4 damage, and then we're going to be attacking for 5. So yeah, like 9 damage in 1 turn cycle. This is when people complain about Bowmasters and like they need to ban that crap. That's what they're talking about. And this is the downside of punishing their Brainstorm is we don't have the ability to just easily ping that. Now, if we draw a second one, I will be ecstatic. I think I need a Brainstorm for a land here. If I get locked, that'll suck, but I play a ton of fetches. Okay, so I'm not going to bolt the bird. I don't think that's correct in this situation this late in the game to bolt the bird. Bolt the bird is a mnemonic a lot of people use. I think keeping Solitude in my hand is a great insurance policy. I'm not going to cast Psychic Frog here. I don't think Psychic Frog belongs in this game. But at the same time, it might be good if after we pitch to Fairy, we want it. So I'll put these back. I'll play this out so we have a second plow effect. Yeah, I'm feeling super duper favored here. I will be amazed if they do manage to resolve Nadu. That could be a problem, but we do have plenty of ways to remove it. The problem with Nadu is if they are able to resolve it, and it looks like by virtue of them putting a Nomads down, they probably have a second Nomads or like a Shuko in hand. Here's Nomads. I'll let that resolve. And here comes Nadu. Nadu will be forced. Do they have force back? Wow, we stopped it. Okay, I think we won. Because this Nomads is not going to be able to do enough. I think in the interest of making sure that I can close this game and just minimizing risk, I think plowing here is good. Next turn, I can Psychic Frog. And wait, I put Psychic Frog somewhere else. I guess I'm not going to Psychic Frog. Yeah, I put Psychic Frog one more card down. In retrospect, that was a mistake. Okay, they have one more chance to potentially kill us with Nadu. They need both A and B parts. It is still a possibility. Like, this game is far from locked, but in 4 cards, they have to have both parts, and they have to also have Disruption for our plow. And then we have Psychic Frog, and then we have Solitude, which can be hard cast or pitch cast. So we know our next card is Psychic Frog, and that's definitely what we're going to cast. We're doing well on time. This has actually been a pretty quick game so far, thanks to the decision to Bowmaster. Okay, this looks like a Green Sun Zenith for Nadu. I'm going to let this resolve. If this is Uro, that could be a problem. They wouldn't get Uro, though, because we have Caracas. Okay, I don't actually... Yeah, they were able to play that. Like, after this resolve, there was no window in which I could have responded to Nadu being in play. So, that's fine. I'm just going to attack with the Orc Army here. And I'm going to cast a Psychic Frog. It's not a force block, but it will be a force block soon. Psychic Frog essentially threatens lethal. They would have to have double days to stop my plow. So if anything comes down, like what would happen? Let's say they play a third Nomads in core. I plow. And then they bounce. Oh, they're bouncing proactively to just try to get a card. That works out well for me. So this is a strategy they can do to try to get cards. They got a Green Sun Zenith. I don't think I can get them out of this situation, though. Okay, we got it. All right. Winning game 1 against Nadu combo feels great, but that was an insane opening mold of 6. Okay, so cards that are good here. I don't know if they're playing the actual Self-Led Breakfast package. The thing is, a lot of people aren't doing that anymore because Nadu is so strong by himself. You don't even need to win through a combo. If they show that they are playing it, then I'll board it in, but I'm not going to respect it. The only cards that I think make sense might be Prismatic Ending here. Let me see what I would board out. So let's say we board in Prismatic Ending here, and the cards that could come out, I don't really see any cards that need to come out is the thing. Let's take a detailed look. I'm not going to board out my Psychic Frogs. Baleful Strix is not amazing in this match, but I mean it can like kind of slow them down if they do settle into some sort of aggro plan. I do think we need these endings though. I don't want to get rid of Force because one of the problems with Nadu and why I think it's a bannable card is you really need to counter it on the stack. It's a creature, but creature removal isn't good enough because once it resolves, it's immediately like recouped its value. There's no way to remove it other than like a sudden edict or something. Like I'm trying to think of any, and even then they have to pass priority so they can get triggers immediately. It's a really badly templated card in my humble opinion. Teferi might be a little slow. I do want to keep the blue count up. I want to keep Gilded Drake for the ability to potentially steal a bunch of their creatures. This is going to be a long game, so Teferi is good. Yeah, I genuinely don't know what to pull. Maybe, I guess I could pull a Phelia and a Samwise since they're legendary. I think it's unlikely Samwise is going to, we're not going to be able to waste lock them because they have so many basics. We're not playing Containment Priest because of our own vials, but that would be a good card to bring in. Lauren could potentially snag a Shuko, but I'm not even sure if they're playing Shuko. Let's do it like this. All right, game 2. Game 2 of the league. Game 3 of the video. This, unfortunately, is a mulligan. I did the hypergeometric math on this, and we do have 29 lands, which should be slightly better than playing 20 lands in a normal 60 card deck. This hand is bananas. We could put back, I don't even know what to put back here. I think we put back Gilded Drake. It's a high EV card, expected value, but only if things go very specifically right, and they're going to have removal to stop Gilded Drake. So I'll put Gilded Drake back. I realize that we don't have as many cards for force now. I would definitely put back a Wasteland, but I want to have a second land. They may play Prismatic Ending, which is a nice way to on curve stop our Aether Vial. So here, if they have a turn 2 Nadu, that's bad, but we can plow. I can't think of a world where we don't deploy Aether Vial. I think it would just be too big of a mistake. I'm going to play this out just in case we do rip like a blue-black land. Then we could, or a fetch, then we could Psychic Frog instead of, but I'm going to Bowmasters at the first possible opportunity to get rid of this bird. When I say bird, it's just a generic word for mana dork. And by the way, the word dork, I don't like using that word because if you look at what it actually means in a dictionary, yeah. So I'll just call it a mana bird. Please don't be Nadu. It's Nadu. All right, well, yep, we're Nadu gaming. All right, so I'm going to always yield. I put that on the stack. It's irritating. Am I not automatically stacking abilities? Always yield to triggered abilities. Okay. Yes, I want to use the ability. Okay, let's draw. So we do have lots of ways of removing Nadu. Unfortunately, I think we just don't have the luxury of doing anything but trying to plow here. And if they have a force, they have a force, and we probably lost the game. It's so frustrating, but that's just how the game works. They got their own plow, which sucks. Yeah, so we got rid of their Nadu, but they got a card out of it. I mean, you might argue, oh, it's just a cantrip, It's just a cantripping card that happens to completely win the game in a lot of situations. I'm not going to waste here. I like the idea of being able to get this up and then also being able to flash in Phelia next turn. Hedge Maze, that's good. When they're playing passive cards, they're not untapping and slamming Nadu into core Nomads in core. One of the things with sharing these videos on YouTube, it really makes me have to remember the exact names of cards before I just be like, oh yeah, that 1/1 that can target creatures for 0. I don't care what the name is. I just care what it does, But now that I'm actually trying to narrate my thoughts, I do need to actually say the correct thing. So as not to bore the heck out of you. Okay. Teferi's not terrible. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to, I could Bowmaster now and slightly restrict their options. I'm not sure that they're playing Daze. I do think it makes sense to go ahead and Bowmaster now. They may be able to cantrip in response. Actually, they can't. That's one of the great things is it doesn't go on the stack. They don't know what's coming. And so if they have any cantrips in their hand, it's too late. Yep, that's fine. I had to get rid of that at some point. I do get an orc army. I'd much rather them kill that than kill Phelia. So that was a 2-for-1. If you count the orc as a 1. Ponder. Yeah, it said the Bowmaster couldn't stick around to punish that. So the best case scenario would be I draw some sort of land and I could just slam Teferi and they don't have a convenient way to remove Teferi, I don't think, other than maybe like, and I'll just immediately Teferi bounce targeting nothing and get my card. All right, so if they play Daze, I'm going to be sad, but I don't think they play Daze because a lot of these control decks don't play Daze because it's a bad card for like longer games. It's really just like if you're playing the Daze Wasteland, potentially Stifle Shell. Okay, Phelia's in. I'm not going to use this ability. Yeah. Okay. No. Let's draw. All right. Okay, so I am just going to immediately use this ability. Check this out. This is so good. Teferi. What do you have to say about this? What say ye? Force of Will? This is your chance. All right. And now, I'm just going to return nothing. Draw a card. That is going to be insane. Now I'm going to attack and check this out. I will just exile my Teferi, and I'll get a full loyalty Teferi at the end of the turn. Unless you have Stifle, which I don't think you do. All right, and we have End Step Psychic Frog as well. All right, you can't immediately reuse Teferi, which would be insane because it comes back an End Step. If they had retemplated this to say like comes into play second main or something like that, that would be so ridiculous because you just be machine gunning Teferi triggers twice a turn. Okay, so are they playing Natural Order? This seems like a Natural Order type play. Natural Order could go get a lot of stuff. Nadu. I can't interact here. If they just have it, they just have it. They just have it. Yeah, well, I'm going to let them do it. I mean, they can't attack my Teferi. I do have somewhat of an engine on play online, but they are going to get at least 6 cards here. This is how broken Nadu is. And they maybe 7 because I got to land. Yeah, this sucks. I'm going to see if I can yield until end step. Yield until next end step. Okay, yeah. And we're just going to preserve some clock. We do have 16 minutes on the clock, but this takes forever. And then end step, I'm just going to vial in a Psychic Frog. I can take vial up to 3 and guarantee Skyclave, uncounterable, removal of Nadu. But that presumes that they don't find like a Karakas in the next 12 cards. And they could very much do that. They have probably one Karakas in their deck. And okay, yeah. So they're going to get 2 more cards immediately. And then during my turn, they're going to get 8 more cards. I don't think it's possible to win. I was so advantaged. I had so much stuff going on. Okay, so they're going to get 10 cards next turn. But it does not matter how big of an advantage you get if they just get the combo all of a sudden. And it would be one thing if like it was Cephalid Breakfast and we just had to, it's a combo deck. We sideboard like it's a combo deck. No big deal, right? I don't have a problem with combo decks. I do have a problem with this deck because it's a combo deck that also gets to play like a premier control deck. Like it's basically just Bant control that has an I win button in it. And I don't think that's, I mean, you could argue that Natural Order for Atraxa is that, but Natural Order for Atraxa is like 4 or 5 cards. Nadu, we're going to see our opponent get like 15 cards here per turn. So they're currently getting 10 cards during next upkeep. Okay, they're going to be getting 12 cards during next upkeep and 2 cards now. And they might get even more. Sylvan Safekeeper, so we can't even target any of their stuff anymore. So I can't even remove with Skyclave Apparition Nadu anymore because they can just sacrifice a land and give it Shroud. And they can do that at instant speed, so it doesn't even matter. Why are they doing this? They don't need to target their own creatures. They can just nomad it. Okay. This makes sense to me. All right, well, I am going to put my frog in. You now know that I'm playing frog. Not that it matters in the slightest. So I will... I'm trying to think, is there anything in my deck that can matter at this point? They've got 31 cards left. I can just put out a whole lot of stuff to prevent them from being able to do anything. Maybe that's... what I'm really trying to do is just, win time, I guess. I'm just going to target nothing here. Done. Because if I target anything, they can just give it hexproof. I mean, overloading their removal might be an option here. But I am winning back clock. And it is possible their deck does take a lot of time to win. Okay, I got another land. That's not the most exciting. It's possible that I do Vialing Skyclave. Yes, I'm going to Skyclave the Sylvan Safekeeper. No, I'm going to just... I'll attempt to target Nadu here. They're going to give it Pro. Okay. Oh, I totally should have played out the Karakas. I'm dumb. Because Karakas means I can bounce Phelia. Okay, I'm surprised they're not actually just going for the whole Nomads thing right now. The good news is even if they... I didn't even look at all the cards they flipped. They probably flipped like tons of plows and stuff. Yeah, because then I could bounce Phelia back to hand. All right, let's go to combat. I'm going to attack with Psychic Frog and Phelia. I'm going to take Phelia's ability and I'm going to, I guess, hit this. Yeah, because Teferi's going to die anyway. Like, even if I take him up to 4, they should block here, but they may not. Because they can kill Phelia, and that's like literally the only thing I have going on, the only thing keeping me in this game. There's not a good reason to do anything with Psychic Frog. If they block with Nadu, I can just discard these lands. I am going to discard a land here. Maybe like it'll spook them somehow. Oh wow, they actually let me kill it. Like they have like so much raw advantage here. Oh wait, I'm gonna pass, and then when the trigger goes on the stack, I'm gonna see. I'll just target Sylvan Safekeeper because Nadu already has Shroud. That'll make them sack another land. Okay. And they get a card, of course. They got another land. Another land. Okay, they've got lots of lands here. I'm still going to go after one of their lands. Phelia is now big enough that she can tango with any creatures they're likely to play. And I can just Skyclave each turn. Again, like if I didn't have tons of time on clock, I wouldn't continue to play this. In fact, I'm going to just F6, I think. I don't think there's anything I can do here. So I'm going to let them do their thing, and I'll stop talking, and the auto-editing script that I use will take all that dead air out, and then I'll just tell you what happened. All right, shout out to my opponent for giving me like 10 minutes to like unload the library books and do a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm not sure why the game is not over. They have 17 cards in their hand. They have tons of untapped land. It would be amazing if there was like a way that I could somehow deck them. But, okay. I'm not going to be using this ability. They did attack my, can we somehow deck them? So we Orcish Bowmasters, we target one of their creatures, it triggers. Then Phelia, we exile Skyclave, it triggers. Yeah, I don't think we can, but I'm going to try. So I think the most obvious thing is just to see if they're paying attention or if they like F6 to save clock, because they did use a ton of clock there. And I'm just going to hit the Sylvan Safekeeper. And they should sack to protect the Sylvan Safekeeper. That's fine. They trigger. Springheart Nantuko triggers. This is not a May ability, I don't think. Okay, 6 cards in library. Target Bristly Bill here. If they're smart, they don't sack. Okay, maybe that was a misplay. Maybe I should have attacked first. Yeah, I think I kind of screwed that up. I don't think it was likely that I'd be able to do what I wanted to do here. I'll just target Nomad. So that gets a trigger. If this trigger creates a land drop, then there's another trigger from Nantuko, but there isn't. They should just block here. I probably should have attacked with Psychic Frog too, just to add to the confusion, but it doesn't matter. They're going to be able to win not through combat damage, but through... I presume they have what's her name in it in the deck. It's fine. I presume they have Thassa's Oracle. They may not be able to actually do enough combat damage to win here. All right, and I'm just going to F6 again and let them take as much time as they need to kill all my permanents. I'm just going to count real quick for fun. 1, so this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 18. That's not lethal. I will use the ability, and I will get a island, I guess. I probably should have gotten a swamp there. As though there's going to be more turns. They're going to remove some more stuff. That's fine. I think it's fine to block here. I'll just block. What's the biggest thing I can block here? This? Just absorb a damage. I got 3 cards in hand. We're at 10 life. Yeah, that little optimization. I mean, they may not actually play the card here. Had I been thinking that there would be another turn, I would have definitely grabbed Yorion. Let's see what we draw. Solitude. Solitude is legit if they don't have a Force of Will in their hand, which they're going to have a Force of Will in their hand. I think if I hit this, I might survive. So we're going to get a trigger. Nomad Encore. They can just Karakas it, but Karakasing it will flip a card. Okay. So that is another trigger. Got 1 card left in their hand. Yeah, I'm dead. Like, even though we fought so hard, but yeah, they're going to win with 0 cards in their deck. I'm just going to F6. Yeah, the Solitude itself is not going to be able to provide a sufficient wall. So yeah, every single card mattered there. I don't know why it's still asking me. I F6'd. Okay, so we'll see what happens here, but like we won't see because I'm just going to be quiet and wait for them to meander through their turn. All right, they figured it out. If they take that long to win next time, I don't even know that I need to worry about Nadu resolving. I still think Prismatic Ending is good. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, Phelia is obviously quite good. We could bring her back in. Take out the Prismatic Endings. I think I like this mix because we can bolt their birds and slow them down a little bit. I guess they're not playing Thassa. Maybe Thassa's Oracle was in the sideboard. I always call her Thassa, but then I realized Thassa is probably some other character in lore and she's just the Oracle for her. But it feels like Thassa's Oracle, because her ability is so powerful, she should be legendary or something, you know? This is a keep. Yeah, I think not revealing Yorion last game, or not getting Yorion and putting him into my hand. There were a lot of things I could have done differently there. I'm kind of like worried about playing out the Baleful Strix, even though it's very good against their deck, just because I do want to be able to force a Nadu on the stack. That's fine. I'm always happy to not see a bird because that accelerates us toward their victory. All right, and I'm going to fetch a Surveil. We'll go ahead and get Meticulous Archive here. That is a good card. I'm going to keep that. All right. I don't worry about them having Nadu next turn, so I am going to go ahead and just cast this Baleful Strix out rather than do nothing. Underground Sea, blue, black, Strix. All right, a Vial showing up late, but still welcome. If they have something that I can remove with Prismatic Ending, I will play out Vial next turn. Otherwise, I may just hold it and pitch it to a Psychic Frog later. It is good to get online, but it costs a lot of forward momentum. That is one thing to note, is that like Vial's a terrible top deck. You really want it in your opening hand because it just takes time to reach maturity. Like any good investment, you know. All right. So they're starting slow, but they could just slam a Nadu next turn. And even if they don't immediately have, well, I mean, I can remove a Nadu, assuming they're not playing. Okay, force. I think the answer is to Recruiter, probably for like a frog. No, I'm gonna take it slow. I'm gonna invest because I'm cautious. Vial, and then I'll go get the other Surveil land. And I will hit them for a cheeky 1 damage here with my owl. Delighted Halfling is something I can Prismatic End, so I will plan to do that. Oops. Yeah. I guess I'll use the ability. Sure. I didn't mean to click that. And then I should still get priority, so I can still fetch my... Yeah, I accidentally clicked the vial instead of the land. All right, let's get under City Sewers here. I don't want another land. I think we're good. Well, actually, if I get a land, I can Recruiter and do a land drop. I think it's fine for momentum. Okay, so here I get my land, play it out. I'm going to start by getting rid of this. That's the number one priority. Okay, now I'll fetch. I'm going to get a Tundra. I don't see any reason not to play on non-basics. And I will just go white. Let's go ahead and recruit. In terms of things to get with Recruiter, I do think Orcish Bowmasters is good. Phelia is probably the best thing to get, actually. They do have Caracas, though, so it's not Phelia. Getting a Baleful Strix slows their aggression, and it may make it harder for them to close the game. Samwise is not good enough. Baron is legendary. Yeah, I'll just get another Baleful Strix. Then I'll attack, and I'll pass. See, this is why I let my opponent run out their clock, because they're tied with me again, because they play so much faster than I do when they're not going off. That's fine. No Bowmaster to punish. I definitely considered getting a Bowmaster instead of getting a Baleful Strix. Had I gotten it, they would have definitely burned through their cantrips this turn. I would love for them to play out some sort of bird type effect or something that I can exile with a Skyclave. I don't believe they have any instant speed creatures in their deck, so I am going to attack with both the Recruiter and the Strix. All right. Brainstorm's a good draw. I think I'm just going to attack first. I've got double force up. This feels pretty good. If I Brainstorm and if I have Samwise, that would be good. I want to remove that Caracas for sure. So finding a Wasteland wouldn't be terrible. Okay, this is the nuts. This is insanely good. Okay, so I'm going to... I think I put this back. And this could go back. This is an answer potentially. But this is 2 cards that I can potentially feed into Yorion later. And you may be thinking oh, why don't you just go for Yorion? And I could definitely do that. But they have Caracas out. I just feel like there's more stuff to be done first. I'm going to get another Strix just to have... do I want to get a Psychic Frog? Psychic Frog's not actually going to end the game any faster. I think I get Strix because Strix has an ETB trigger. And then they'll probably assume I have Strix in my hand, which I do, but I also have Orcish Bowmasters, which can kill one of their creatures at instant speed. It's fine. So if they put a Nadu on the stack, I can vial in Orcish Bowmasters. Okay, well that is just going to get a force. And if they force, I will force back. I hate to do this, but yeah. I'm throwing away a lot of value, but Nadu must be stopped. They don't get the draw trigger, nothing. Out of consideration of just needing to get things done, I'm going to put this in, and we're going to start beating face here. This locks their cantrips. They can't cantrip. I think we tick this up. This is going to go up to 3. We'll see what we draw here. Fairy would be good. Gilded Drake doesn't do anything here. I'm just going to go ahead and attack with everything. Then I'm going to put Yorion into my hand. If they have a second Nadu next turn, that's very bad for me. Yorion to hand, pass. That sucks, but nothing we can do about it. So that means they probably have a cantrip in hand. Another Nadu. This is a green sun for Nadu. I will attempt to Gilded Drake Nadu. They tapped out a Caracas. That was a mistake. This sucks. This really sucks. I've fought so hard. Yeah, I'm just going to F6 and let them do this. Okay, second trigger, land. Third trigger. They are probably going to be able to... Yeah, they got another creature. Okay, fourth trigger. I mean, you saw how conservatively I played. It's just like so frustrating that, you know... yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go salty. I'm just going to be chill, see if they run out of time. I am presenting a lot of cards that can interact with them. Okay, this is going to go up because eventually it'll be able to put in a Yorion, and that I don't really have any other 3-drops in my deck. I'm going to go ahead and just waste this now. So it was... Ooh, wait a second. So we could just cast Yorion, and then we could use these, but it's not really going to accomplish anything. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to attempt to give them my Drake, which in no universe is this going to succeed, but I'm going to try. Oh, I should have freaking wasted this to force them to choose a color and then passed. That was a misplay because now they can find a bunch of cards and they can plow it. I'll take your Nadu. That's one trigger. They can Karakas it back to their hand next turn if they let this happen. They did let that happen. That was very foolish in my humble opinion. And I am just going to pass, and next turn the Yorion Apocalypse will be upon you, where I go and get a bunch of Bowmasters and stuff. Teferi. If they Teferi this back to their hand, I'm going to be so sad. You're going to go get another Nadu? That is something you can do. And just like that, our game goes from being an interesting kind of back and forth to just being, okay, how fast can they get, the Nadu combo to work? Can they do this effectively with their time that they have on the clock? Can they find some sort of answer to my board state? It's just like so uninteresting, and it's such an unsatisfying conclusion to basically like a 50-minute game. Like we're both using our entire clocks, and it just sucks that it comes down to this. So this is why I really don't like Nadu as a card. All right, they passed through combat. They're discarding a bunch of cards. They've got 20 cards left in their deck. They've got 1 minute on their clock. I've got 2 minutes. I am going to go ahead and use Yorion here. Okay, I don't think there's any point in attacking. I'm just going to go ahead and put Yorion in. Okay. I'm going to exile this. That get exiled? What happened there? Yeah, done. Okay, these are going to come back in. I'm going to get some more triggers. I get a card. This is my draw step. Okay, I accidentally did turn my draw step. That's kind of dumb. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get, when these triggers go off, let's go ahead and get we'll get that first, I guess. I should have technically drawn last to reduce the likelihood, or I guess increase the amount of knowledge I would have. I could definitely, so I think I need cards that I can cast at instant speed, which is really just Orcish Bowmasters. And I'll get another Orcish Bowmasters. Yep. And we will pass. Should we pass? If necessary, I can create some additional blockers here. I am going to go ahead and just do this now, just so I can F6. I'm going to target my opponent. That's fine. We'll target this. Actually, I'll target that. Okay. It's actually kind of annoying. Okay, I'm not even going to play the other one out. I'm just going to F6. They've got 41 seconds to win. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to babysit the heck out of this little text box and make sure that I never have priority. I'm going to even go in here. Yeah, it says yield through the turn. So I've got like literally, yield all. No possible play. That's right. Don't wake me. Just leave me alone. It is frustrating that it comes to this. I don't think my opponent has an out. They could attack. If they attack, I do have to figure out some blocks. But they have so many triggers on the stack that they have to deal with already. It keeps trying to pass priority back to me, which is so terrifying. All right. Well, we won, but I wish it could have been more interesting than that. So, yeah. Good games, I guess. All right. please, kids, don't let your friends. What is the saying? Friends tell friends to say no to Nadu. All right, we are back against Nikaido. The expression, if you skipped the previous round, it was a Nadu matchup. And the expression, the 1980s callback public service announcement thing I was looking for, friends don't let friends don't let friends use Nadu. Let's get this person's name. I'm so indulging in my own terrible sense of humor that I didn't remember the name. Nikaido. If anybody has like a suggestion for like a bot that I can use to just do this for me, I do like to actually look at the list, and I see like Discord or Twitch chat bots. So they call it Mono White Stoneblade, but this looks pretty Death and Taxes to me. They're playing Giver runes instead of Mother runes, which is fine with me. It is stronger against my deck. They're doing Ephemerate shenanigans, being able to remove their creatures is going to be important. They are not playing. This is modern. Okay, well, sorry for wasting your time there. Yeah, Legacy, Reanimator. Okay, probably on Rescam, but who knows? Maybe they, like the rest of the world, got bored of just winning on turn 2, despite through protection and everything, and they decided to play a deck that's actually fun. Okay, cool. So this is a great opening hand. I think we put back the Sewers. We'll put back the Archive because we have more white sources than we have black sources in our deck, thanks to the Crocuses. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna open Sewers. Open Sewers sounds fun. When I was a kid, I used to play in the Sewers. There was like like pipes and stuff you could go into. It was a lot of fun. So I have no idea what they're up against, but I think a second Plow is probably good. And if it's not, Plow seems very strong in the format in general. Okay, Once Upon a Time. So we are against a creature matchup. Probably. I mean, they could be a lands deck. So, okay, this is fine. I've got Bowmasters for this, and I do think Bowmastering first to bolt the bird is better than trying to stick an early Psychic Frog. So I'll go get white. I'm really, really hoping that they're not a Wasteland deck, but I don't think they are. I think they're probably on Cradle Control or something like that. And we're going to go black, white, and we're not going to give them a window to tap that thing. Nikaido did say, good luck, have fun back. So Nikaido, if you happen to be watching this, hope you have a fantastic day. All right, Elvish Reclaimer. I'm really glad we kept that Swords. Okay, Gaia's Cradle. I'm super duper happy we kept that Swords. Okay, so I can only remove one of these, unfortunately, but that's going to be Elvish Reclaimer. That card does not get invited back to Thanksgiving dinner. Okay, I think we... we could let it survive for a turn. What we could do is we could Charming Prince and then flicker our Bowmasters. Then when Bowmasters comes back in, it hits the Noble Hierarch. I'm not as worried about the about the Elvish Reclaimer, considering that they already have a Gaia's Cradle, and that's the scariest thing they could get. But they could go get a Wasteland here, seeing that I missed my land drop. All right, so this is effectively denying them 2 mana. Quite good. Because of the Cradle. So next turn, they are going to be able to activate Elvish Reclaimer. My little guys. Yep. Sorry, but weenies do not get to exist. This is the weenie deck. I am the weenie deck now. I am the captain now. Look at me. Okay, yeah. Some more weenies. I would love to rip Charming Prince number 3. How awesome would that be? Or Charming Prince number 2 or Bowmasters number 2. Oh, wow. They're cycling their Gaia's Cradle. Oh, no. Please don't do this to me. I've worked so hard to not get Atraxid. I do have a Plow for Atraxid, but still, it's just like a punch in the gut. Like having them get like 4 or 5 cards. The best 4 or 5 cards on top of their deck. Oh, that's fine. I don't care about that. All right. Yeah, that's totally fine. Well, I can't Bowmaster that. All right. Yeah, they're down to 2 cards in hand. Oh, I mean, I do think that this is the right play. I don't really care about attacking for damage. I don't know. Yeah, let's just continue to amass card advantage. Maybe that's greedy. I can't imagine this endurance doing anything to us. Even if it attacks in, it's not that big of a deal. What is a big deal is Reclaimer going and getting a Wasteland, but I think my opponent probably just doesn't play Wasteland because most Cradle control decks. No, my guys. Yeah, I'm not going to attack into that. If I get another Bowmasters, this will be bigger than Endurance. My plan is to draw a white and then plow both of these next turn if I can. Wow. Yeah. So we're just going to have to ignore Endurance. I will double block if Endurance comes down the line. Another Endurance? They're waiting. Interesting. They may hope that I attack in and they can do some combat tricks, but I am not reckless. Please give me a land. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to plow this one. No, I'm not going to plow because I just telegraphed to my opponent that I have plow. Because if I plow, then they can just go get the Sajiri step thing. So I'm going to wait to the end turn, and once they pass priority, I will plow. Not a moment sooner. So if I pass priority, they do get to untap with it. I think it's fine to plow during their turn. Okay, they have tons of mana. Maybe that was a mistake. And they didn't actually even use the Reclaimer. So I feel pretty dumb. If I plow now, they can just go get... they can still tap the Cradle. This could be the mother of all Green Suns. 4, Natural Order. Okay, so I think we do plow here. And my reasoning is they don't have enough mana. They're not floating any mana. Yeah, I have another plow to stop the other one. They could flip like something like Legolas Quick Reflexes. And if they do that, I'll feel very dumb. Let's see what they get here. Revealed Zone. Okay, so that forest was already revealed. They've revealed Crater Hoof, which is not like particularly strong here. They got a second Natural Order. So next turn they can Natural Order again for Crater Hoof. So I need to reduce their material on board. Because Natural Order, like Crater Hoof scales really quickly. If your opponent has like even 3 creatures in play and they get a Crater Hoof, that's probably game. But the good news is, other than Talon Gates, which they could have gotten, so I am glad I removed that card. What do they keep? Let's see. Wooded Foothills, Green Sun Zenith, Noble Hierarch. Okay. And they just cast the Noble Hierarch? Okay, wow. So they didn't keep any of the stuff I was worried about them keeping. I guess that Natural Order could be dangerous later. But, yeah, this is their hand. That was the last card in their hand. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. Hopefully draw a land. A Recruiter's not bad. But I can't Recruiter and remove Atraxa. I have to remove Atraxa. I can't, like, risk them, like, finding some sort of blink effect. Okay. So you gain a bunch of life. And I think I'm going to go ahead and attack with Psychic Frog. I kind of want to jump it. I am going to jump it. I want a different card. So I can discard this Recruiter, which I don't think is that much utility in here. And then I'm going to give it flying. Oh, wait. Even if I give it flying, Endurance can tango with it. So if they block with Endurance, which they should, then I'll have to also pitch this other one. So I screwed up. That was a punt. I just want to be abundantly clear. That was not some like Galaxy Brain action. That was a dumb play. And yeah, I just totally forgot that they had, hopefully that doesn't cost me the game. I just gave up 2 cards, one of which was a Recruiter that could have gotten me literally anything and a Psychic Frog. That was the biggest punt so far of this video, I'm sure. White is pretty terrifying. Yeah, I could have gotten Solitude. I could have gotten a lot of stuff, but instead I'm going to sit here and look like a dumbass. And they're going to cast the world's largest Green Sun Zenith. Yeah, I think I threw this game. So they've got 5 mana here. 4 mana. If they Green Sun now and just get something pedestrian, I'll be very happy about that. Like get another Endurance or something. Because that's giving me time. But white is definitely a problem. Okay, they're getting Grist. What is Grist going to do? They are going to sacrifice a creature to kill my Psychic Frog. That's the only one that makes sense to kill. Yeah. Okay. And it's the one that will Endurance Still a really strong card, even though it's not as widely played. I would love it for them to do a greedy attack here, but I think they're favored as the game goes on, with Grist ticking up. What do we get here? Actually, I think we have to go for the white here. We could go for the white, and then we could kamikaze the Grist, and they'll probably be able to stop some of our cards. They won't be able to stop all of them. Oh, wait, we don't have enough white mana. So bad. I'm just going to concede to save time. I threw this game. I feel confident that had I not thrown away my second card, I wasn't drawing anything that was going to save me. That would have been a turn too late. The loyalty would have been too high. Yeah. This is a powerful deck, and you can't screw up against it. And I very much did screw up. So let's talk cards coming in. This is definitely coming in. I don't think Lauren comes in. I don't like Graveyard Hate too very much against their deck. I don't think we can safely take out Forces because they have Natural Order and things like that. I don't see any cards in our main deck that are dead against them. Teferi is pretty bad. Yeah, I think we could probably cut Teferi's. I mean, it's tempo if we get, but you saw like that. We drew probably like 15 cards and we only had 3 lands. So Teferi would have been castable. Another alternative. So Harbinger does have text if they get greedy. They don't play a lot of removal. But if they have even one basic land, which they can go get really easily with their Elvish Reclaimer, then that doesn't work. Yeah, I'm inclined to think that this is the series of substitutions. I don't want to cut land because I do want my Vials to be live, and Vial probably can't be removed by them, and it will give us tons of combat tricks, like Gilded Drake's really good against them, as you can imagine. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't have conceded just because had I top decked a Gilded Drake, I could have used Gilded Drake to take their white, and then I would have been able to attack with that. So that was probably a premature concession, just tilting because I punted. This seems like a great hand. I'm going to keep this. Doesn't have removal, but we start with selection. Then we take like their best creature. We Gilded Drake. We let them beat us for a few turns. And then we recruit her for probably Phelia, maybe Charming Prince. Okay. Yeah, maybe the answer was not to even discard and just accept the frog as a loss there instead of pitching the otherwise good, the second frog and the recruiter to keep it alive. There is a possibility they're playing choke, so it does incentivize me a little bit to fetch basics here. Okay. Yeah, if they have choke, I'll wish I had a swamp. So I'm thinking about just getting a swamp here, because we'll have white off of Crocus. So choke, if you're familiar with choke, it's a green card that basically stops all islands from untapping. It's like back to basic for islands. Really strong sideboard card, and they're probably playing it. We can't see their lists. I think we Drake this. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get the surveil land. I need a black source, but I also want additional blue sources. I'm not gonna play like a coward when they may not even have choke. It's a good card. I'll keep this. I'm gonna immediately take this land away because it's very powerful against me. Or take this elf away. And they're gonna be able to hit me for 3 next turn, but they are not gonna be able to reclaim. Also, it's totally possible that I get this up high enough that we can get the 3/4 action going. This can sacrifice any land, unlike Elvish Reclaimer or Elvish Knight of the Reliquary, which is the old version of this. It's been power crept out, in my opinion, by Elvish Reclaimer and now White of the Reliquary. So they're going to hit us for 4. Yeah, I can't blank here. Yeah, that sucks. This is the danger, by the way. Like when you play this card, it's high risk, high reward. And it's going to take us at least 2 turns to get rid of it. So we're going to recruiter. Yeah, I think I'm going to hold that in case I need to go get like a basic plains. And I'm just going to recruiter here. All right. And I think it makes sense to get a Charming Prince, a Phelia. Phelia is good. We do have Caracas. We do need to get to connect, like actually be able to successfully attack with Phelia in order to start blinking this. So there is risk that we like flash her in and then during combat they like have a removal spell of some sort. I'm going to hold Reclaimer back because I don't really care about getting tiny chunks of damage. This game is going to end with us taking all their cards and having something in the sky that can block the Drake. So we're going to drop to 11 here if they just attack with the Drake again. Then we'll go to 10 off the Force and 9 off the Marsh Flats. They're not playing anything. I think they may be aware of the interaction with Phelia, or they may just be waiting until after combat. Probably more likely explanation. Because their deck, they have 4 cards in their hand. They almost certainly can cast stuff. Please cast an Endurance. Now, white is... Yeah, I'm going to take this from you. Actually, this gives them the ability to sack. So maybe I should have forced that. I'm just deathly afraid of a big natural order or something. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and play out Psychic Frog. Psychic Frog can jump, but I would be a fool to pitch my hand. It's worth noting that if Phelia targets Gildedrake and they sacrifice with white, they don't get a trigger. Do they? Yeah, they get a trigger, and yeah, it completely stops me from being able to do the shenanigans. So white is very powerful. I do kind of regret not forcing it there. So if I pitch 3 cards here, I counter this. Pitch this. I'm going to pitch this. Oh, wait, we have to pitch one more. Damn it. Oh, I screwed up. Oh, my goodness. You got that on my freaking... yeah, I clicked the thing because... Yeah, that was bad. I'm just going to concede. Shame concede. I think this was... I was doing really well, but that first punt, just this cascading error. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a nice walk. I'm going to get my head on straight, and then I'm going to come back and do rounds 3 and 4. So many punts. GG's. Okay, cool. Yeah. There's nothing that I can describe that to other than piloting errors. Just at least 3. So if we think back, obviously the first round when I attacked into the endurance, thinking I could grant my... here, I'll switch back to my deck so you can see while I'm talking. So there will be some visual aid other than just like my record. Okay, so let's think about that. And we're going to come back and we're going to do 2 more rounds. But real quick, I was attacking in with Psychic Frog, and I was thinking like, oh, no big deal. I can just give it flying, right? And then it'll have evasion. But then I forgot, oh, endurance has reach, right? It has flash and reach. Very good card. That was the big thing. And then I had to pitch 2 cards, which I shouldn't have pitched. I should have just accepted the loss. So this is like humans often double down on errors. And it kind of like cascading errors. There was like a sunk cost fallacy, like, oh no, I can't lose my frog. You know, I've already lost this 1 piece of material. Why not throw away 2 pieces of material and save it? So that's very literal manifestation of like the sunk cost fallacy. But I should have just accepted my losses and pitched. The second error, which wasn't necessarily an error, was not forcing white of the Reliquary, because white of the Reliquary was going to break up my loop with Phelia. And then the third one, obviously, was just pitching a bunch of cards to Psychic Frog, but not pitching the final card. Like, after I did what I did, I should have just pitched the last card. But, like, I thought I'd given it enough, and I used my keyboard, and I'm very fast at it because I have to do a lot of really quick inputs. During, 25-minute clock, I might do, like, especially with this deck, like, I don't know, hundreds, thousands of inputs. So I'm just constantly clicking my keys. I've got them all ergonomically mapped to my home row. And yeah, that was super duper embarrassing. So it's not common that I do those kinds of things, but I'm very glad that I made that miscalculation on, an MTGO, league match, as opposed to in the finals of like Eternal Weekend or something. I mean, you can imagine some like high stakes situation where I miscount my frog. That's why we practice, is to, but the fact that I didn't pitch the final thing was just muscle memory because I was trying to pass priority to save time. Which, fun fact, having a bunch of time on your clock at the end of a game doesn't matter if you lost that game, there's no consolation prize for having clock, right? Like, so I just need to kind of like slow down my pinky, getting it to compulsively tap to pass priority to save time. But yeah, that was embarrassing, but that does happen. And I'm trying to get better. If you notice anything else I do that I don't call out as a punt that is a punt, please be sure to leave a comment so I can improve, because I am not playing to win. I don't have my like ego invested in this. This is not what I do. I'm not a spike. I'm not like traveling around trying to like qualify, for big, like for the Pro Tour or anything like that. I just enjoy playing and getting better. And yes, I enjoy winning tournaments, but it's not central to my life. It's not central to my ego. I'm not like totally crushed here. I'm not going to go and like lie in my bed and just, be numb for 2 or 3 days as a result of those punts. I'm just going to learn from them and move on. And I hope you'll adopt the same attitude, because beating yourself up after a punt just doesn't do you any favors. Maybe it's like some evolutionarily learned behavior to like really reinforce, like on the savannah, a single mistake can be fatal, but this is a game. Like, I'm not going to literally die. I'm not literally going to lose family members or lose my house or any of these, things from punting at an online game of Magic the Gathering. And a lot of times your brain doesn't make that distinction. There's a book I'm reading right now called The Hour Between Dog and Wolf. And it's all about like these traders on Wall Street and like the physiology of making these like high risk plays that they make, right? And so this guy worked as a trader, and he was really interested in what was going on in his body when he was making these trades. Here, I'll show you the book. Okay, perfect. Engaged. Hour Between Wolf, or not Wolf and Man, it's Wolf and Dog. Yeah, this is the book. So it's from 10 years ago, but yeah, I read like this kind of stuff, just trying to learn more. It's not like, I think he did go back and actually get like academic research or like studied where's the author biography? Okay, that's it. There's no biography. But what I heard was that he actually worked as a trader, then went back and like formally studied in like an academic setting, physiology and neurochemistry and stuff like that. Oh yeah, turned neuroscientist. So whether neuroscientist is like PhD in neuroscience, or it's like I got an undergraduate degree in psychology and now I'm an armchair, psychoanalyzing people, I definitely get the vibe that this guy knows what he's talking about. But so far the book's been good. Anyway, figured I'd tell you that. You may find it helpful to like understand when you're playing Magic the Gathering, what's going on. Like, holy cow, this is so intense. My heart rate rises. Sometimes not during that previous game with the Nadu deck, but sometimes when my clock gets really low, I'm just like, whoosh. Like if you watch, I published a video where round 5, I was up against round 4, maybe round 5, but I was up against from Mars to Sirius, the guy with the 2 X's on both of his name, a guy, gal. Yeah, we literally, the game ended with us both having one of us had 0 seconds, but I had 1 second on my clock and I won. And it was just like the most intense, holy cow, like I had to go for a long walk after that. And then there was a game on a previously uploaded video that I uploaded earlier this week where it was just like I summoned the card that I needed to throw off the top of my deck, but that wasn't the end. I had to have like several other consecutive good draws in order to beat this opponent. It's the first game of a video that I published, I think last Friday, whenever you're watching this. Yeah, but I do get like really intense and like I'm having fun today and vibing with my vials out. But yeah, there are definitely games where it's just like, whoosh, like it's like the most intense thing in my life. Like it's almost like I'm being like fighting a bear or something in my mind and in my body that feels like what's going on. And that's one of the reasons I play Magic the Gathering, because it is totally exhilarating. The thrill of competition, the variable reward of not knowing what your deck is going to give you, what your opponent's deck is going to give to them, and having to adapt and do all these calculations on the fly and keep the game moving along, especially here on MTGO, where you don't have the liberty of like using up your opponent's time and a shared clock. You actually have your own clock and you have to be slamming that clock. Yeah, it's so fun. Anyway, I'll stop talking. I'm going to go take a break and I'll be back and you can check out rounds 4 and rounds 5. All right, we are back against Oops Mistrigger, which is a name I can certainly identify with like after last round. So we are in round 4 of 5 of this Legacy League. I'm going to check and see what they are likely playing. All right, very likely on Glaring Fleshraker Mystic Forge combo. We are not well disposed to be able to attack this deck. We do have plenty of Force Negations in the sideboard, but in terms of structurally stopping it, we don't really have a lot. We're not playing like Null Rod or anything like that because of our own artifacts. This hand, I don't think it's good enough. Swords probably doesn't matter if they're on this deck. I'm going to mulligan it and see if we can find a force hand. We didn't find a force hand. This hand is just as bad as the previous one. I'm going to put back Gilded Drake, and we're almost certainly going to go get a Surveil land here. I definitely could have, like, if they, yeah, they're still on the Karn Forge. That was the only deck they've been playing within the past year or so, so I figured they'd be on it. All right, and Karn Forge is doing Karn Forge things. If they have a key, I'm going to be seriously alarmed, but they so far don't have a key, but do they have a ring? Nothing like a turn 1 Elden Ring. Turn 1 ring. Oh, yeah, this is just as bad. So they have basically infinity mana for the rest of the game. It's just a question of whether they have anything to do with it. So Force would be good to stop like a Karn. Phelia, not really going to help us here. I think... yeah, I'm not going to get greedy because the greedy play is to brainstorm and then just have to put cards back and not be able to do anything with them. I'm going to go ahead and be disciplined and do a Surveil trigger here. Just try to find land 2, because if we find land number 2, at least we've got Psychic Frog if they completely stall out on top. I mean, if they didn't have something to do with 3 mana, maybe 4 mana, they could have had a much more explosive line if they had a One Ring or a Glaring Fleshraker or something like that in hand. And I can't imagine them not playing it out. So I'm presuming we're dead and we're like maybe 10% to win this. Yeah, more mana. I mean, if it's Oops all mana, that's fine with me. Another Manifold Key. Okay, they've got 1 card left. If that's a One Ring, we're dead. But if it's not a One Ring, we have a chance here. Okay, untapping they've got a lot of mana. They're just doing that so they can pass and not have to do stuff during our turn, and they can F6 through our turn, I think. I'm going to go ahead and get the blue-white one. Blue-black. We have more white sources in the deck. I'm going to get this, Undercity Sewer. We don't need that. We need a land. If we have to brainstorm here, it's going to be a very bad sign. We're going to have to brainstorm. Hopefully this finds a fetch. If we get waste locked or brainstorm locked, okay. So Phelia can potentially exile Ring and do cool tricks like that. I don't think Prince is good enough. And I don't... Samwise is not terrible, but I mean, they have so much mana. Like the upside of Samwise is like waste locking. I think we put this back. And I'm just going to plan to get our other Surveil land. And these games can get kind of grindy, so I can't completely neglect the clock here, even though most likely they're going to win very quickly or not at all. If they put a ring on the stack, I probably will. I was going to say I probably would brainstorm to try to find a force. A force is definitely the best draw in our deck, just because it, like at this point, every force is worth its weight in gold. But we only have 4 forces in 80 cards, so I'm not counting on it. All right, it's not like totally useless draw. I think it's Psychic Frog here. I mean, Phelia is really good, but we don't actually benefit from blinking stuff, and exiling their stuff isn't going to get us anywhere here. If they don't play out, that's fine. Oh, we're getting so lucky if they're just doing mana stuff here. Uh-oh. So the big's coming. 9 mana on the pool. 11, 12. Is this going to be a giant? I'm getting giant Walking Ballista vibes. If I had played out this island instead of this Crocus, like I could have brainstormed and maybe found a force. So that is definitely a teachable moment. But I mean, this is looking like a giant Walking Ballista. It's not going to be big enough to kill me, but I am going to have to plow it. Oh, Kozilek's command. Scry X and create X01. I mean, that resolves. So they're going to be able to scry and they're going to be able to find like a One Ring or some game-ending card, and they're going to get to draw it. And they have enough of these tokens they can sack. So yeah, I mean, this is over, but it's just like we're playing to like a 3% out, 4% out. Because I can fly, I can connect, but if they have One Ring, it's not going to matter. They're looking at 10 or 11. They're looking at 11 cards. I can't imagine them whiffing here. I'm going to go ahead and F6 because there's nothing I can do practically to interact with this. I can always turn it off if they put like a Walking Ballista on the stack and plow. Or yeah, actually, if they put a Glaring Fleshraker on the stack, I will actually be kind of happy because that doesn't draw any additional cards here. So the important thing to note is they are surveilling, I believe. Scrying. So they can basically stack their deck. Yeah, they put 4 on top, 7 on bottom. Mystic Forge. Okay. This is over. Forsaken Monument. Whenever you tap a permanent, add black for it. Oh, wow. I've never even seen this card, but this is gross. They're adding a lot. Like, basically all these became infinity mana. Yeah, they're just stunning. I'm pretty sure they could have killed this by now. Okay, I'm just going to concede, save some time. I definitely could have made them play it out, but I don't think they're likely to go to time with their deck. Again, we're not well equipped, but I do think Harbinger can kill Sagas, which they probably have, and reduce their mana count. I think it's better than nothing. Lauren is definitely coming in. Lauren's really good. Lavinia has obvious applications here. I think Force Negations come in. This is a lot of cards we're bringing in. What are we taking out? Solitude's coming out. I think Orcish Bowmasters, probably not very good. They don't actually... Well, yeah, I guess with the One Ring, they draw cards. Teferi is very weak here. They're not countering our stuff anyway. Being able to bounce some random permanent to their hand that they can easily recast isn't going to shape the course of the game. Even though they're probably playing Glaring Fleshraker, I think Plows come out because that's literally the only creature in their deck other than Emrakul, which we're never going to be able to interact with. By the time they get up to Emrakul mana, the game is over, basically. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that would make more sense to cut than like Baron, because it is a blue card. Oh, Gilded Drake. Gilded Drake is a bad blue card for us. It's never going to be relevant. So we can take those out and we can put these in. All right, that's 40 cards. Or 80 cards, rather. Yeah, I think we're not likely to win this, but I'm going to try for it. Baleful Strix is pretty terrible, but it does cantrip and it does, do tricks with Phelia. See what I did there? So I think we keep it. Also, it's a blue card for Force. Samwise can do the Samwise loop. This is obviously good. This is a good interaction with the other cards. Yeah, I think this is the deck configuration. They're probably not going to go after our mana, but I don't want to end up being mana screwed, and we're pretty greedy on mana, just playing 29 without Ponder. Ponder is almost kind of like lands, and by not playing Ponder, we are going to have to add a couple extra lands to our mana base. Okay. So we're going to reveal Yorion. Okay, this is a keep. This is not terrible. Okay, so my thinking is we surveil turn 1, and then we can, turn 2, we can Samwise and get a card back. It's not like a phenomenal hand, but it does the basic job of deploying threats and continuing to get value. If they have an explosive turn 1 hand, I don't think we were going to win anyway. Yeah, well, I mean, if they had an all-in hand. What I'm hoping is that somehow Bowmasters can come out and make a difference. Baron can only return creatures and planeswalkers, so it's probably not going to be a part of this game, but it'll probably pitch to force. All right. Again, I expect 0 interaction with our mana base, so I can just fetch the Surveil land and then fetch a dual land. Okay, Grim Monolith. Keep it coming. That's a City of Traders, so that's a somewhat one-shot, maybe 2-shot land. Okay. There's 3 mana. Glaring Fleshraker. We don't have a way to immediately interact with this. Yeah, Glaring Fleshraker is just too powerful in the Eldrazi deck, and the fact that it incidentally helps these Karn Forge decks. All right. We'll get Archive. Vial. I think it's too late. I want to get Samwise online. We've got plenty of land. Yeah, the problem is I can't take a turn off. I've got stuff to do with my mana every turn. I'm just going to put it in the graveyard. And I'm not investing in the future like I could. Plow is not in our deck. I think we have pivoted to Psychic Frog, as that is something that can potentially punch through. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and try this. And then if they stumble for some reason and they're not able to close the game quickly, Psychic Frog can hit them a whole lot. They're probably going to need Ancient Tombs, other land that does damage to them. I'll take key, triggers, and not only do they get the mana from Eldrazi Spawn token, but they're going to get the ability to untap the Basalt Monolith, or the Grim Monolith. Okay, 3 more in the pool. Another Monolith, another Eldrazi, another life lost. So yeah, this is burning us as they combo off. Another Manifold Key. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about how powerful Kozilek's Command is, but being able to basically stack the next 4 or 10 cards in your deck. Yeah, I don't think we were going to win this even if we had Force, because Glaring Fleshraker is already so powerful. They have tons of mana. They can untap this. They can basically cycle through their entire deck here. Yeah, they're sacking some of the mana they get from that to untap that. Now they have access to 5 mana, 3 in the pool, 4, 1 ring. I'm going to concede. This is unwinnable in my humble opinion. And if you think there was a line, let me know. But I kept a pretty solid hand, not wanting to mull to Oblivion, and I was punished for not mulling to a Force. It is quite possible that in this matchup you want to mull to a Force rather than keeping, this fair hand. Yeah, I mean, in retrospect, I think 100% I should have mulled more aggressively. So that's on me. All right, we're back for the final game of the league against Komobisk, which means what is this soup, I guess? I'm not sure exactly what it means. But they did not have a lot of history. They had played Stoneblade in the past. So I'm going to assume they're a fair gamer. Oh, they're on Yorion. Yorion, show off. I'm going to have to play quickly because this is going to be long. This is a strong opener with Vial, and I'm just going to keep on the strength of that. I'm going to play out Karakas, I think, because I could draw a second Karakas, and if any land is going to get wasted, I want it to be that. They're going to assume that I'm on Death and Taxes, which they're probably on. I'll be tickled pink if they are on... Oh, interesting. So they may be on Yorion, Esper Pile. I'm trying to think of another deck. Yeah, wow. Oh, Esper Vial versus Esper Vial. This is the finale we all wanted. All right. So let's, yes. And let's draw. Oh, that's good. So what we can do is we can probably deploy Phelia at instant speed here. Not really any other options here. I'm going to see what they play. And then I can always Plow plus Surveillion. They're much faster with their triggers than I am. So maybe they've been at this for a while. Okay. So they're representing Bowmaster mana. Fortunately, the only cantrips I have in my deck other than the Baleful Strixes. Another one. Yeah, that's fine. What What is this? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so I think I'm going to end step Phelia here. They're not representing any sort of removal. They could have Solitude. I can just get Phelia going, and I can start like blinking their vials, I guess. I will get a Tundra here. I'm not going to play any basics. I'm going to just try to have good mana. They may force. No force. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is take that up. I think I'm going to play this out. Oh, I get to draw a card, of course. Yeah, that's good. That'll be really good in the matchup. I think I'm just going to play out a Psychic Frog first. And I'm just going to attack, and I'll exile their Vial. So it'll go back down to 1 counter. This isn't like the strongest play, but I could have like exiled my Frog to get like an extra power. Yeah, that's fine. I think I want to aggro. I think I'm just going to plow this. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that was going to come out sooner or later. So it looks like I'm on Psychic Frog. They're probably on Psychic Frog too. You may be wondering, why didn't you just like Gilded Drake that? Because that would be pretty cool. But the reality is Gilded Drake, as soon as she flipped, she would have gone back under my opponent's control. Always yield to triggers. So these are triggers. They're not, well, activated trigger. Activated abilities. I don't know if always yield will actually yield to them being able to put stuff in instant speed without me being able to respond. And I think I'm just going to let this tick up to 3 because I can go get Recruiter here. Or Recruiter is good. Yes. All right. We'll draw. That is a very good card to draw here. I'm going to attempt to recruit. Yes. They're letting me. I'm going to go get... What do I want to get here? I think Skyclave is good because I can start taking out their vials. All right, and then I'll just attack here with both of these. And I'm going to blink my Recruiter. See what they have to say about this. Hull Breacher. Hull Breacher's not fun. I think that's fine. But now I'm thinking, okay, so this gets exiled. I'm thinking about just, yeah, I want to keep attacking, but I don't want to deal with Hull Breacher like ever. I'm just not a fan of that card. So we can peacefully exile this. We'll see if they force. If they force, they didn't force. Yeah, so we got rid of it. We're going to be able to get through. We're going to get a card back. I'm just like trying to like hardcore aggro them here. Teferi, I think we play this. Okay. Teferi was a great top deck. I'm just going to bounce one of these. Draw a card. Did I play a land? I did not. I'm just going to waste them. I'm going to try to constrict their options because I have a lot of pressure on the table. I'm going to get my creature back. My Phelia could get killed. That is definitely a possibility. I think I'm going to go get Baron. Is a 3-drop that I can bring in off of Vial. I could also get more Recruiters and just chain those, but I think the power play is to Baron just as a potential tempo source. Now I'm not going to tick this up because what I can do is I can Gilded Drake and then I can Baron it back to my hand and draw a card. And yeah, that's pretty strong against what I've got going on here. They may wait. They're not going to wait. Okay, the Yorion revealed. So this tells me that the Wasteland was good, that it did do something there. Recasting their Vial, which is fine. I've unfortunately already pitched my my card that I was going to use on it. So I'm just going to, yeah. I just want to, like, how can I always yield to... And then no to the ability. I don't think it's worth it to tick up toward Yorion here. Oh, that's wrong. All right, I'm going to go ahead and attack. Yeah, I'm just going to keep pressure on. They may be able to put something in, which is fine. Okay, they didn't. So I get a card here. I am going to play out this land. I'm going to plus. I think I am going to go ahead and put Okay, what I'm going to do here, I need this to resolve. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to put Baron in. Yes, they can't actually interact, but they can vial stuff in. Okay. Going to bounce this back to hand. They could have Bowmasters off their vial. That's totally something that I'm accepting could happen. And then I'm just going to go and do this again. And I will get a card off Baron. So Bowmasters is bad because I'm going to draw a card here. I'm going to go get a Bowmasters. I'll pass. Draw trigger. I have the ability to bounce Baron if I'd like. I've got double Bowmasters now. I've got force up. I'm feeling pretty favored here. They've got 15 life. Anything I force will, my force can't be forced, which is nice because I've got Teferi out. Teferi may eventually be able to bounce this vial. It's worth noting that my opponent probably has a lot more experience playing Esper Vial on MTGO, maybe even more experience overall, since I mainly played in paper. So we should expect them to play a lot faster than us. Okay, so what this is telling me is that they have Ephemerate. I'm thinking I let this resolve and then I Ephemerate. They might go get a Plow. Yeah, I'm just going to wait and see what they get here. They have 2 other cards in hand. Ephemerate's a very greedy card. It really is like a win more card. Okay, they're not getting Ephemerate. I guess the question we have to ask is, okay, this resolves. What is this? Recruiter of the Guard. Okay, I can't do anything about that. Next turn I can definitely poke it though before they'll be able to Yorion it. It's so exciting because this deck is like total blue ocean frontier. Nobody has figured out like an optimal build for this, and there are so many options because you're playing 80 cards, you're playing 3 colors. The only real consensus is you want to play as many creatures as possible. You want to play all 4 vials, all 4 forces, all 4 plows, probably all 4 bowmasters. Gilded Drake, some people play it, some people don't. Urtai is a really good card here. What are they going to plow something? I don't really want to lose this. Yeah, I think I'm just going to plow this or force this. So now I really do want to draw a second black source because I've only got 1 black source and I have 2 high value targets here. I think I am going to tick this up. So I'm going to go ahead and draw. Okay, I'm not punished for ticking up. I'm going to go ahead and play this out and just see what my top card is. Don't really need that second island. I'm going to go ahead. I think I'll start by attacking and seeing what they do. I should have played out or ticked up Teferi here. If they want to trade to try to take away my material, I'm okay with that. But I want to maximize the amount of damage. Yeah, I think I want to keep her. I wasn't thinking that they would do that. Okay, so we are getting some damage in. We're drawing a card, which is not the island that we surveilled away. It's another Teferi, which doesn't really help us. Now we don't actually have the mana to play out. Yeah, we can't really do anything. I can't get what's his name. So we just have to let Urtai resolve. I think it's the Urtai is the one that exiles cards or kill something, and then I get to draw a card. So if they have like a Orcish Bowmasters, that could be very bad for me here. Yeah, and I can no longer block, or I can no longer Karakas this back into my hand and then bounce it, bounce a permanent. So if they, depending on what they target here, Teferi would be a good option. Yeah, I have another Teferi. Do they have a Bowmasters? They don't have a Bowmasters. They would have played it out. So I'm going to Teferi this turn and bounce their Vial back to hand. If I get another land, I can also... Okay, they're doing this. That's fine. They can cast it a second time now. But they'll be hard casting it, and I think I will force it. Yeah, it's doing a lot of damage. Now I don't have to worry about Teferiing because I can just put Yorion into my hand and then blink everything and bring massive damage against them. Yeah, they scoop. I'm so glad they scooped because it would have taken me another little while to get everything done there. Prismatic Ending is worth bringing in. Lauren is probably worth bringing in. because she can take care of Vials, and she can potentially trigger, like, help me kill weenies with Orcish Bowmasters. I'm kind of thinking we take out the forces. We don't want to be going down cards. Yeah, I don't see anything else to bring in. I don't think Lavinia is good here. I don't think Now Spellbomb is particularly good here. So we'll do that. All right, round 5, game 2. Against Esper Vial. Crazy that, like, I almost never encounter this in leagues. I think I've played against it like maybe 3 or 4 times. And to actually be playing Vial on Vial, it's like ape not harm, ape split. No, we're not going to split here. I did have somebody offer to split on MTGO because they were like doing really well. I guess they were like 4-0, and I didn't understand how that would work, and I didn't want to do that. So I have never split on MTGO, but it's something I do all the time in paper. It looks like they walked away to give their brain a break because this deck is very hard to play. And I say that as somebody who plays hard decks. Like, I love playing control decks. You could argue that like storm type decks or something are like the hardest to play. But this deck is not easy to play. All right. Carefully clicking my Yorion trigger because I have screwed that up before. Now they are likely playing Wasteland. Every card matters. This hand is really solid. We have Prismatic Ending for turn 1 Vial. I think I'm going to keep this and hopefully not get wasted and punished. It's also worth noting that if like I get really far behind, I'm just going to concede aggressively because I want to make sure we have time for game 3. So I don't expect like Tishana's Tidebender, but that is a really strong card that sometimes Esper Vial decks play. The fact that neither of us opened Vial, it makes my Prismatic Ending, whoa, it's not exactly the mirror, but they can go get a Vial with that, so that's good. Let's see what's coming out of this. Okay. Brainstorm's fine. If they're playing Urza's Saga, this makes me think they may not be playing Wasteland. The reason is, this is a very colored mana intensive deck, and you don't generally want to be playing colorless lands. So I am going to go get this Surveil land and maximize the likelihood of finding land number 2. And I will put literally anything that's on a land into the graveyard here. We're going to get the blue-white one. Yes. That is going to go... I think for forward momentum, we go ahead and play out the Strix. I mean, it immediately gets us a card. The highest upside is, of course, playing Psychic Frog. Next turn, they will have the ability to create a token, but they're not presenting white mana. So yeah, I'm gonna go for broke and play the Psychic Frog. My opponent made it easy by not giving me any targets for my plows or Prismatic Ending. All right, no force. How bannable is this card? We shall see. If they plow this, they don't get the Saga Construct. Baleful Strix is fine. Yeah, I mean, it's a good card. I'm playing it. I see your Baleful Strix, and I will raise you a Baleful Strix. But first, I'm actually going to Prismatic End that. And, yeah, I'll probably hold up. Oof. Yeah, that is going to get rid of my card, but it's at the cost of 2 cards to you. Yeah, it was aggressive. They really didn't care about that construct, and it would have been a pretty big construct because this is an artifact. So yeah, like questionable play in my humble opinion. Maybe too much respect for the frog. Okay, I think so. We could brainstorm and try to find a land. If we find a land, we're like really happy, especially if it's a fetch. And worst case scenario, we can just put out the Vial. Don't be brainstorm locked. Don't be brainstorm locked. Okay. We're not technically brainstorm locked. I like all these cards. Well, yeah, we are technically brainstorm locked, but I am going to get a land drop here. So here's what I think I'm going to do. Put back these cards that are very mana intensive in case they somehow give me a way to shuffle my deck. Now I'm going to play out a Wasteland. I'm going to waste their white source. This strands and kind of dooms this. And then I'm going to go ahead and play out my Vial. Hopefully they don't play Daze. I can't imagine playing Daze in the Urza Saga deck, but I should have done that in a different order just in case. Okay, now we have our Vial. They will be able to go to Vial. Actually, I didn't think about that, but they're not going to have any land other than the Vial. And when we end the Vial, which we will certainly do, yeah. And then I'm hoping Gilded Drake plus Phelia get us to the promised land. Shadow Spear. Wow. Shadow Spear? You're not going to get a Vial? Are you not playing Vial? How can you not play Vial in Esper Vial? This is a totally puzzling choice. Yeah, I don't think that this is correct. I'm just going to probably remove the Prismatic Ending, but I'm not even in a hurry to remove it. Actually, if I take it with Gilded Drake, interestingly enough, the equipment remains attached to it. And I can swing in and gain life and, and kill my Gilded Drake that they'll probably block with. The alternative, of course, is that I just Phelia end step. Okay, I have to think here. I think Phelia end step has higher upside, but they are presenting white, and I'll be pretty far behind. No, I Phelia end step. My reasoning is that if I'm able to instant speed this next turn, like instant speeding Drake is so much more powerful than 1xing it, double xing, 2xing it. Here we go. Bring in the beats. Yeah, not creating those constructs, the cost is really clear because they would be hitting me for so much more. All right, so let's attempt to Phelia here. She'll probably eat a plow, but if she doesn't, we're in a pretty good position here. She might eat a force. I'm down with 2-for-1 from force. Okay. Okay. What are they doing here? It's an interesting time to fetch. Okay. That works. I am going to use the ability, and I think we'll see what we draw here. Oh, we already know we're going to draw a Recruiter. So let's say hypothetically we Drake here, take their Strix, and then we play our own Strix. I think it's fine. I'm going to go ahead and start with my own Strix just to see what comes up. I'm not in a hurry. I can even Drake in combat if they don't play anything better. I'm happy Strix is getting played so much. Strix is just an amazing card. Now I'm thinking about maybe not even Draking their Strix. But I think it's fine to Drake their Strix in combat and then just play my own Strix next turn. Are they going to trade? So if we give them a Drake... Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take an extra turn. I'm just going to put in Drake. And they don't have another creature to equip this to. Well, actually, they can equip it to Drake. But if they forget, because the equip is a sorcery, if they forget to equip it to Drake, then I get to keep this Shadow Spear on my side. It's so cool to see the equipment itself on my side, even though I don't own it. It doesn't distinguish. Okay, they're going to fetch. I really want to rip like a Charming Prince or something that just immediately does the thing rather than has to wait a turn. I think I am going to take this up to 3. Baron to return the Strix to hand. Much respect. Much respect to Baron. And that is going to give them a draw trigger as well. Yeah, this is so cool. I'm just glad. Like, whoever wins, this is just fun. Okay, and they get their draw trigger. So now I have to contend with Baron. I think I do want to take this up because I've got double recruiters. I don't really have any combat tricks to speak of here. See what we draw. That's a good card. Okay, so what I think I could do here is I could... taking their Baron isn't the worst. I think I'm going to go ahead and Recruiter here. I'll use the ability. I'm going to get a... Should I get a Baron on my own? I mean, that's a pretty strong play. Baron my own Drake back to my hand. Okay, and then I'm just going to Baron. I think this might be the first time in a long time that 2 Barons have been facing each other on the battlefield. I'm going to get to draw a card off of that. I'm going to, I guess, attack for 1. Good old-fashioned Magic the Gathering with creatures. It's fun. Oh, Solitude's a good pickup too. If we find Prince, we can Solitude and then we can Prince. Well, we can't Prince with Solitude on the stack because Vial's already up to 3. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to Vial with Recruiter, and then I'm going to keep the draw trigger on the stack, or the counter trigger on the stack, and then I'll tick it up, and then I'll plan to get Yorion here. There's their Strix. And they have to be cognizant that like literally everything they play can be used against them now with Gilded Drake on the table. Not attacking. So I need to do this correctly. So I'm going to put this on the stack, but I want to immediately use it and Recruiter. And I'm going to just go get, I think we get a Orcish Bowmasters. It's just too good not to get. And then I'm going to let this tick up. Yes. Next turn, I am going to go ahead and attempt to remove this with Orcish Bowmasters, just so I can attack in. Because I want to aggro them. I'm worried about time. I mean, that's a 2-for-1. Do I want to go ahead and plow the Strix so I can attack in? I think I do. Yeah. And we'll see if they have an Ephemerate. Ephemerate would be a total beating here. They don't. Okay, I'm going to attack. Oh, wow. That was before I even got to it. I always keep screwing up and doing stuff during my upkeep when I should be doing it afterward. I am going to attack with Baron here. Just force through as much damage as I can. Baron's already done his job here, but it looks like my opponent's Baron has not finished his job, so he has more duty. Having Solitude up feels great. It's a 2-for-1, but they've already 2-for-1 themselves a couple times here. Urza's Saga, not terrified of it, but because I've got Strixes. But with Shadow Spear on the table, it is a little bit more formidable. All right, so they brainstormed, and now they are casting a 3-drop. Lauren, that takes out either my Vial, which would be the right thing to take out, or my Baleful Strix. Okay, yeah, that's a good card. Okay, what's this? Plow is fine. Okay, so I have to think about what we're going to do here. I think we just take this. Lauren is a potential threat here. Yeah, I'm glad we didn't grab Yorion because we're not anywhere near close to hard casting him. I think we just Prismatic Ending and hit. That may seem like kind of a weak play, but I don't really feel like we have any other obvious thing to do. I'll do black here. And again, I will be absolutely blown out by Ephemerate, but I don't... Oh, wait, they don't have mana for that. So, done. We definitely don't want them doing any shenanigans with Karakas with this when we have Baleful Strix out. I'm just going to attack for 3. Next turn, they're going to be able to potentially create a token. They're going to potentially be able to use Swift Sphere shenanigans. Yeah, we're just kind of choked on mana. That Lauren was very well timed. Because Psychic Frog, yeah, I'm not too worried about that. If they pitch cards, well, they're not going to have cards to pitch to it. They've got 1 card in hand. If we play out Strix, that completely nullifies Psychic Frog. Now, they can give Psychic Frog Trample. I would love for them to actually equip Shadow Spear to something here instead of creating tokens. Yeah, that's great. No problem whatsoever. Okay, and they're going to attack me for 3, and they're going to gain 3, which is good for them, but... I would much rather have to worry about like I think in this situation where you have so few cards in hand, it makes more sense. Retrofitter, that's a good card. That's a very good card at this point of the game. So they're not on Esper Vial. They're on like some other deck that's similar to Esper Vial. We could take their Frog. I think it's going to start with a Brainstorm. If we can find a Prismatic Ending for Retrofitter, that'd be great. I am worried that that'll take over the game. And I'm also worried about clock. Karakas bounces this back to hand. Yeah, I think I'm just going to Karakas that back to hand. And I'm going to play out another Strix. It might be worth just going ahead and taking out the Psychic Frog here to preserve momentum. Yeah, I think I am going to do that. I'll pitch this. I was one turn away from just hard casting it. Not sure why their Psychic Frog's frame isn't loading. And I'll just I'll attack with everything here. Yeah, that might be a bad play. I might be letting the time pressure get to me. Because if I just waited a turn, I would have been able to cast out the Solitude. And then that would be like, a potential Yorion interaction later. I'm just really worried with all the mana that they have that they can do a lot of stuff here. I think I need to bounce Baron back with this search trigger on the stack. They are creating the construct. If they go get like Lava Spur Boots or something, that's going to be kind of scary. So they can gain potentially 4 life if they equip here with Shadow Spear. Okay, they do have Aether Vial. They just chose to get Aether Vial like super late in the game. Yeah, I guess they played it earlier. But I was like puzzled as to why they didn't just get it early because it's such a good card. Okay, so they are hitting me for 5 here, but I'm going to trade for sure. like this is the easiest trade. Oh, they're not attacking. Okay, well then it's not even a trade. Okay, so I think I'm going to take it from them. I'll take it. Blue Drake. I'll take their construct, and next turn I can attack them with it. And then I'm just going to fetch here. I'll get I am kind of worried about them getting... I've got all my colors. I don't think they're playing Wasteland. I'm going to get an island here. And then I'm going to go... Let's get Yorion into my hand. I think I can win this game. So I'm going to play like I have this clock for the entire game. Oh, wait. Do I want to attack it? I think it's fine. No. These are all cards that'll blink with Yorion. I'm going to wait. So taking away their construct makes me feel better, but they still have 2 cards in hand, and they have a Retrofitter that can create a lot of Thopter type creatures. I'm confident that I can out-card advantage them, though, once I resolve Yorion. But they could force or something which would be pretty catastrophic. All right, Baron's coming back out. What are they going to bounce? Everything I have has an ETB. They could bounce that. That's fine. It's exiled. They get their Shadow Spear back. They don't have a mana to equip. Wait, yeah, they cost two mana to equip. Indestructible and hexproof. Okay, not Death Touch, importantly. Okay, they didn't attack, which I think is a mistake because I probably would have traded the Strix just out of life considerations. Do they draw for that? Did they get to draw even though it didn't go back into their hand? Yeah, they did. That's pretty good. All right, so let's draw. Brainstorm is fine. I don't want to risk. I'll get a Plains here. I don't want to risk them. Like they definitely could have force, but yeah, maybe I do Brainstorm to see. No, I took out all my forces, didn't I? Yeah, so I'm just going to keep this up. We're going to attempt to Yorion here. It's making me click all the mana. Okay, Yorion resolved. When Yorion enters, okay, the ability goes on the stack. Boom, 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 boom. I would like to basically draw / tutor for 4 cards. Do you have a Stifle? If you have a Stifle, I will scoop and we will go to game 4. But otherwise, I feel heavily favored. All right, I'm going to go get... okay. I'm just going to go get Charming Prince. Charming Prince has some power to it. It also has the ability to blink my Gilded Drake. Get a Charming Prince, and I think I'm gonna get a. I think I'm gonna go get a Bowmaster here. I'm trying to think if there's something more high impact that I could get. I think Bowmaster is pretty good, but it doesn't do. Oh, Lauren, yeah, Lauren's good, especially with the Karakas out. All right, I will pass, and I have the ability to bounce Yorion back to my hand and do all that over again next turn if I so desire. I'm under 5 minutes on my clock. They have twice as much time as I do. So there is no game 3. This is the game that we win. If Lauren can come online, every single turn I can potentially blow up one of their precious artifacts that they've invested so many resources in. Well, yeah, please do attack. I'm just going to block with Yorion. And if you have a... that's fine. Brainstorm is fine. If you have an Orcish Bowmasters, that is fine. This does give him trample, so I will take the 4 damage if I have to bounce Yorion out of the way. Do they have a plow? Okay. Combat damage. All right, Yorion survives. Play another land. I'm thinking about not bouncing Yorion and instead bouncing Baron here and then just attacking. He doesn't see himself. They shouldn't draw a card. It's already in step anyway. Okay. I feel like we have a mandate to just press. I'm going to go ahead and start with this card that is usually pretty backbreaking. You may have heard of it, Teferi. All right. I'm going to attempt to bounce this, forcing them to Vialing a Bowmasters if they have it. Play a land. I'm going to go get a swamp just so I have all my colors. I'm going to force them to make a token if they're going to make a token by playing this out. And I do think the Retrofitter is the target here. I feel such overwhelming advantage. I'm just worried about the clock and them figuring out some way to stall for a while. Okay, they're fetching. Okay, I think they're going to activate and make a 1/1 thing. They're not. Okay, they're going to wait until it resolves, and I am indeed targeting your Retrofitter boundary, your source of blockers. Okay, you have a token. That token can potentially attack in and kill my Teferi, so I'm going to attack. I'll actually attack with everything, and then I can block bounce with Lauren if they choose to go that route. I just need to do damage. All right, let's pass. 3 minutes, 38 seconds on the clock. They have 10 life, so that's 2 attack steps, I think. They've got a Caracas of their own. They're going to bounce my Yorion. Had they bounced the Lauren, they could have killed Teferi here. Maybe they have a... Oh, they could equip Shadow Spear and attack through Lauren to kill Teferi. That's fine if they do that. What is this? 5 mana in the pool. Solitude. Solitude's okay. What are they going to hit? None of these targets are particularly good. Yep, you have successfully killed that. Do I even want to block bounce here? Yeah, I think I do. Okay, so I'm just going to return this to my hand. Okay. Start by plussing this. I think what we do here is we gild the Drake to take their Solitude. They cannot interact with this. We have a Solitude. Now we go white, colorless, Charming Prince, and I'm going to exile the Gilded Drake so we can attack in. And next turn we can do the same thing. Then I'm just going to attack with these 2 in the air, and I'll take their servo token. And I think I am going to go ahead and blow up their Shadow Spear as well, just to maximize the damage we do here. Stop them from gaining life, which hastens their demise. So they are going to be able to attack us for 3. If they want, they can attack Teferi. I think with 3 minutes on the clock, we do have time to win this. 5 cards in hand. Recruiter. If they go get Bowmasters, that would be a pretty good card here. But I will be taking their Bowmasters next turn. I'm trying to think of what else they could get here. I think Bowmasters probably makes the most sense, knowing what they know about their deck. Plague Engineer. Okay, yeah, that works too. They can name Bird. Human. Okay. All right. I don't think there's a way I can win this turn. So what I'm going to do... These Teferis are really tempting. It's tempting to use it. I'm going to plus it. I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm just to see if I can find a win this turn. Like a plow might help. None of this stuff helps. Let's put these back. I'm going to go ahead and fetch them away. Yeah, I've got 1 minute, 53 seconds. I need to hurry. I'll get a Thunder here. No time to think. We just need to do. Let's go ahead and Charming Prince here. Charming Prince is going to target Gilded Drake. Okay. Now I will just attack with the 2 Baleful Strixes. Actually, I will attack with Charming. I'm going to attack with everything here. And if they want to block, that's fine. I'm going to attack with this, and this. I'm not going to attack with the servo. I'll hold that back to potentially block Teferi. They don't have to block anything here. Well, 7 damage. They could just take it. Okay, that's fine. Oh, this is great. So the Drake is going to die when it comes back into play, and I will be able to basically just take the game over from there. I'm going to pass. Due to time consideration, I'm not even going to attempt to play anything else. So Drake comes back. Done. It's dead. All right. Can they stall us off? We have 1 minute on the clock. I'm just going to F6 through their turn. I have nothing to do. We have to get at least 2 attacks in. We can bounce something if they play it out, but let's say hypothetically they play like a Bowmasters, it'll be very hard for us to win. That's the thing about this deck is it's so squirrely. If you can play it quickly, I think it's going to be really strong. So I'm hoping to get some more reps with it. I could have played out Yorion and just had a guaranteed attacker. I didn't want to deal with the triggers. What I might do next turn is play out Yorion and just not use any triggers because I just need to kill. They still have 4 times as much time as I do. They've got 4 minutes on the clock, so they can afford to think. Urtai. Okay. I don't know why it asked me for my input. I thought I F6. Yield through the turn. No possible play. Okay. So we get a card here. They've killed our Teferi. That doesn't matter. So we only have 5 damage on the table, unfortunately. So even if we Teferi this back to their hand, that's fine. I think, actually, I'm going to just yield until end step, and then I am going to bounce this. Just return that. All right. Yep, we're just going to attack with everything. We'll play this out. Come on. And we'll also play this out. Let the record show that I tried my best. Oh no, this is going to trigger the mana warning as well because I tapped too many lands. Now we're going to F6. We are going to F6 on that. Yeah, it's fine. They get a token. Right, can we attack? We are going to get an attack trigger from Phelia. They can just use like random triggers and stuff to slow us down. I thought I did this. Okay. Yeah, this kind of priority thing, like where they pass priority back to me, they do different things. I'm going to attack, and then I'm just going to F6, and I'm going to hope to get to the attack step. This is a very exciting climax. They're going to bounce something. That's fine. I don't think we can win anymore. They have 2 blockers. Yeah, they would have to screw up. Wait. They won. They won somehow. Oh my goodness. I don't know how they won. I did F6. Yeah, that's disappointing. That's really disappointing because I had lethal. I was attacking. Every second mattered there. I mean, you've seen the many close calls where I've won with like 1 second on the clock, and this is an instance of me winning or losing, even though I had lethal. I was in it. I mean, I think if I had an extra second or 2, I could have won that. So sorry for the disappointing finish. However, I want to point out that across those 2 leagues, we got 6 games here. We got 4 games, or we got 4 games on the other one. We got 2 games this one. So we're basically 6-4 with the deck. So it's not bad at all. I am disappointed in myself for not being able to get over the finish line. I felt like I saw the lines and everything. It was just, yeah, I'm not going to make excuses. Let's talk about the deck. So I didn't really see anything that needed to be improved. Phelia is kind of weak in that, like, it takes her a whole turn to come online. So within the community of, there's like a Discord where people talk about this. There's a guy named JTL005 who kind of pioneered the deck, but he hasn't played this deck in a long time. But he is, an extremely good player. And the argument was he's so good he can play a pile like this and still win. And he continues to win with whatever he throws together in his spare time. He doesn't even play that often, I don't think. But he kind of pioneered this deck, and we've been looking for good blink effects. So Phelia is probably the most promising. There's also Abuelo, which is a card. Here, I'll just Google search these in case you're curious. Abuelo MTG. Yeah, Abuelo Ancestral Echo. Really cool card that came out, and I was like hoping it would be good. It's a 2/2 flying ward, so it survives Bowmasters and stuff. But paying 3 mana is just, you need all your mana. Just too high a cost. And then the card traditionally used in Esper Vial is Esper Vial Legacy. I'm going to find a list because we can probably see it here. I don't think it's good enough, but let's see, Esper, maybe this. Oh yeah, this is JTL's deck. They were playing like cards like Fibblebit, which is bad. It's like a 1/1, but it's legendary and you can bounce it back to your hand. And then we go down here. Peacekeeper basically stops people from being able to win through combat, and you just chill, and eventually you like blink it, and then you kill them after you've accumulated tons of resources. I think this is not a viable strategy because the deck is just so click intensive. You could do this in paper, but I wouldn't try this on MTGO unless you're just like an incredibly fast player. Atris, which is basically kind of like a mini Factor Fiction on a body that you can bounce. The big thing is a blue card you can pitch to force. Venser, which is just not powerful enough in my opinion. Palace Jailer, which is a huge liability nowadays when you got like so many flash creatures like Bowmasters and stuff like that. I wouldn't play it. And also it's not a blue card. Basically we're looking for good blue cards. So the closest we've gotten to a card that can actually end the game that's blue is JTL. I guess they played it like 2 years ago. But I'm going to show it to you just in case you're curious about the deck and you want to try it, because everybody used to play it. I can't remember the name of it. Soul Herder. This is the card. And if they ban Bowmasters, this will definitely be something to play. I don't think they're going to ban Bowmasters, nor do I think they should. I love Bowmasters. But should they ban Bowmasters, this will definitely be kind of a shoe-in because it blinks creatures and it does it automatically. And it's a blue card that pitches to force. Yes, it's a 3-drop, and it's got sick art too. Look at that. It's like the sun with like a Grim Reaper body behind it. But yeah, I would love for this card to be playable, or for them to print something that's better, that's like a 1/2 or a 2/2. You know, we can dream. Or a 2-drop that's blue and white that blinks stuff. But unfortunately, we're left with Phelia, who is flawed. I mean, she's legendary, first of all, which is kind of good, but it's also kind of bad, as we saw in that match. Like, she could be bounced by Karakas. And I love the theme behind her. I love the chaos of like the notion of this dog just going off and playing with something and distracting it, you know. But it's white, which means it doesn't pitch to force, and it does get a +1/+1 counter, but that's like almost flavor text. It's so rare that actually matters. And you know, she has to successfully attack, which is a tall order, especially with all the fatal pushes and everything going around now. So. Yeah, I am loath to play 4 of her, but I think she is really good. She could be replaced by a Soul Herder, but then you're really just asking. Bowmasters already wrecks this deck as is, and we got lucky and we didn't really play against Bowmaster decks. Samwise, really good, but again, legendary, so you don't necessarily want to play more than 2 or 3 of them. And of course, it's just not blue. And you know, our blue count is just so low. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we established we have like 8 here, so that's 13, 17, if I can math, 21. Is that really it? Oh, and then we got the Teferi. So 24 blue cards in an 80 card deck. Like, I would be uncomfortable playing 24 blue cards in a 60 card deck. Maybe not uncomfortable, but yeah, it's much less likely that you're going to have it, and hence the force of negations. You really need 4 to both up your blue count, so you have higher force density and higher blue card density in combo matchups. So yeah, I'm going to keep playing this deck. I love playing it. I hope you enjoyed watching those matches. Other than the Nadu one, that was a freaking snooze fest. And the match against Cradle Control, where I just punted twice, that was super embarrassing, and I'm going to rewatch that periodically just to remind myself. You know, that whole Memento Mori, You Too Will Die. By the way, You Too Will Die, great album. If you're just looking for music, you want a random music recommendation, Polyphia. This band is insane. Instrumental guitar music. And I think the album that they most recently came out was You Too Will Die, which is based off of the Memento Mori that Roman emperors, whenever they had like a big triumph or something like that, where like people were walking through the streets celebrating them, they would have somebody standing right behind them, reminding them memento mori in creepy Latin chants. And that way they wouldn't get too big of an ego. You know, it's very important to restrain. Hubris is very real, and you can definitely fall prey to hubris. So again, my book recommendation, The Hour Between Dog and Wolf, how risk-taking transforms us, body and mind. Excellent book so far. I haven't finished it, but you can see it's got 4.4 on Amazon, which is good for like a very, wonky book about like, psychology and stuff. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this league. Hope you're enjoying these videos. I'm going to keep these videos coming. And until next time, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.